What is up, everybody? We are back, episode number 15, Knoxville Nights podcast. I'm Josh Gerlach, here with Kade Higday and Blake Walker. We're just going to jump right into it. We had a heck of a week, jam-packed show. We had an awesome 3M 360 shootout at Knoxville. Carson McCarl put on a heck of a show. He banked $15,000, and Ayrton Gennetten parked it for his for the second time in his career in a 410. It was good to see that. Earlier guest this season as well. If you haven't caught that one, make sure you go back in the history books there and check out our chat with Ayrton. We also had a quick little Jetco trailer talk with him on our YouTube and socials as well. So a lot of Ayrton talk here. But on the not so great side, we're going to get into the crazy week that happened out in Ohio also. So might have a little bit of a longer episode this week. And don't forget that in just a few short weeks, we are hosting Knoxville Nights live at the Knoxville Raceway during all 4 days of the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's. We are going to also be live on all of our social pages. If you can't make it there to the track, we're going to be on the Dirt Vision stage. Really excited. I think this week we're going to get the guest list out, boys. We've got a couple names confirmed. We're just waiting on one last one, and then we're going to be able to share it with you.
I don't want to spoil anything, but Kade Higday is a guest for our show. I mean, that is a big deal to get Kade Higday, driver at the Knoxville
all
Race
4 days.
He will be there all 4 days. That is a big deal. So you're going to want to get there. We might have to put up like ropes to keep people back for the
Very good
autograph line. Like the autograph line is going to be insane. I tell you what. But seriously, it is going to be awesome. I'm excited to see Kade talk with some of these guys driver to driver. I think that'll be really cool. And I think Kade, you're excited about that too. Especially one of our guests is a legend around Knoxville and in sprint car racing. I think it's going to be fun.
He definitely is. And if you can't make it there, which we hope you will, it's going to be a great time as the Nationals always are. But make sure you're following us on YouTube, especially like we've said last couple of weeks. We're really making a push on the video side on our YouTube channel. Just search Knoxville Nights there. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Knoxville Nights, and Knoxville Nights with no O on Twitter, X. And we're also on the audio platforms too for all the podcasts. So that housekeeping out of the way, Kade, you had a good week. I know that the finish in the feature may not be as what you really wanted to have there, but it was a good week. You just barely missed the cutoff for the first group in qualifying, but you went out last in Group A, laid a heater down. You would have been quick time in Group B had you been one car later, but you went out qualified third, great lap. Really good to see you having speed and early in the night like you've shown, especially last year. You kind of stalled in the heat race. You had a battle there for about half or most of that race. You went fifth to fifth. Then you finished 12th, one spot out of that damn $1,000 bonus if you would have finished 11th. But all in all, really good. You rolled it in the trailer, which was a big improvement from last week. So really off to a much better start there. But solid field. It probably has to feel good, like I said, after kind of the shitty week you had last week to show the speed and yeah, it was a solid field. So how you feeling going into the next couple weeks?
Yeah, normally if I run 12th, I'm pretty pissed off. But racing, like the guys that I was racing with in the feature, definitely nothing to hang your head about. Obviously running 12th, starting 9th was not the way I wanted that to go. I wanted to run up through the field and at least get on the podium, but that did not happen. But yeah, last car in qualifying, kind of just I blitzed the top on the first lap and it felt like it was terrible. So I was like, I got to at least try to go to the bottom. And then, stuck it on both ends and going down the backstretch after that second lap, I looked at the board and saw a 24 and I knew T-Mac went out quite a ways before me. And I was like, surely it's Terry. And then I looked down and on the dirt vision part of it, it had the 24H and I was like, holy shit. Yeah, then just got racing with Timothy Smith there in the heat race, and honestly, I feel like I wasted one too many laps racing with him, and kind of didn't allow myself to get back to Garner like I needed to, and get past him to get that one passing spot that I really needed to get, starting up towards the front of that race. And the track in the feature was kind of like one of those deals where if you start in the first 2 rows, you got a pretty good shot at it. And I mean, there was a lot of hard chargers from the back, but they didn't go clear to the front like sometimes you'll see guys start 6th or 8th and run up and win it, and didn't really see that this weekend.
It kind of goes to show in your heat race, like you really don't have any time to not put somebody away. Like you gotta kind of be on kill to get that done. And almost a little bit of a preview of what we're gonna have here in a couple weeks at the 360 Nationals and the 410 Nationals. But yeah, like you said, overall you were really mixing it up with Jamie and Sam in the feature, which kind of just seemed to stall all 3 of you guys out. You guys got to battling so much with each other. Is that frustrating when you might feel like you have a good car that's capable of moving forward, but it's like, damn it, I just can't again put them away and move on from them.
Yes and no. I mean, they're both very, very talented race car drivers, and Sam races for a living. So to be able to trade sliders with him for, I think, 5 or 6 laps, we were all 3 kind of duking it out there. And honestly, the most frustrating part was that those 2 sets of yellows. Our car was good before that, and then we just didn't cut our tire up enough, and it ended up sealing up over those 2 yellows, and we were kind of just trash after that. I tried knocking the fence down thinking that it was going to stick like it was doing before, and it didn't do that. And yeah, just part of racing, and we learned from it, and we'll move on.
Explain the tire sealing up for those that don't know it. I mean, some people might hear that, not really sure. Explain that.
Yeah, basically it's just your tires get so hot, and if you don't have it cut up enough, that heat kind of gets trapped in the tire, and then when it cools down, it gets like a glaze on the outside of the tire. Then when it glazes up like that, there's no grip in that tire anymore, and you're just along for the ride.
Which is where at home, if you see people like ways that you can help with that, like you talk about cutting it up. So you have like you can sipe them a little bit, or you see the tire grinders that have been of conversation in some places here recently, Macri. Yeah, that's why you would see things like that to prevent the lack of grip that happens when your tire seals up.
For our side in the booth, because we were kind of curious, did you know that the bonus wheel had landed on an 11 in the feature?
No, if I'd have known that, I would have probably crashed myself trying to run the fence to get past Tyler.
I just want to make sure, because like we waited until everybody pushed, and I'm thinking, and Tony brought it up. He's like, "Well, the board on in turn 3, someone's gonna see it where it landed." Obviously, you didn't, but yeah, I just wanted to.
I also wasn't looking.
Well, I probably didn't even think about it, but
nope.
Yeah, but. Good night for you. I mean, 12th out of what do we have? 49 cars. So I mean, that's got to be good for you. And the all white machine, it caught me off guard when I came when it came out on the track. But
preview of things to come, maybe.
I was gonna say,
with that all white machine.
Allegedly.
Maybe a preview. It kind of looked weird with the nose wing still wrapped, but we made it work. I'm like, yeah, it's all white. All white. Oh no, we got some red, black, and blue on the nose wing, but it's a slick race car. It probably looks great when it comes in all muddied up. I just.
Yeah, they all look good in victory lane is what I say. Final doesn't matter when it's fast.
Yeah. Well, good run for you, Kade. Josh and I are happy for you. As you probably maybe know, Josh and I text each other during the night, not in our group chat, about you most of the time. And last night it was a lot of like, yes,
pretty much.
Especially after qualifying, we were pretty pumped after qualifying. So, good for you, man. It was a phenomenal surface. Just to start out, a couple housekeeping things. We got a lot of heavy rain on Saturday morning. Like a very strong thunderstorm came through. Not really windy, just a lot of heavy rain, and the Duncans. It probably helped them for all we know. I mean, it was a phenomenal surface. It was so humid. I mean, probably the most humidity we've seen all year, would you say? Do you think that played into the track a little bit, Kade?
Oh, I'm sure. It was brutally humid. It was like if you did anything down in the pit area, it was just instant soaked in sweat. It was terrible.
Yeah, like standing there talking to you, it was a lot of work, and I sweat my ass off just doing that.
I don't know.
In shorts and a t-shirt, mind you.
Like
working hard.
Our interview with Gennetten, like I could feel sweat going right down my nose, and that's at 11 o'clock at night. I mean, it was hot, and I didn't get a chance to change into shorts or anything. I was still in my pants, but yeah, it was hot.
That was brutal.
We had a great crowd. 3M night always brings out the best. I left my 3M bag in the booth. I hope it's still there next week. It probably won't be, but it's
Dude, it was quite the haul. Eric went through it. I saw on socials, but man, very lucky. Like, there's a lot of stuff in those bags, and it's cool that 3M does that and has done it for so long.
The bags are like reusable bags. Like the previous years, they've just kind of been plastic bags. Usually you probably throw them away, but really nice fabric 3M bags. I had a chance to talk to Adam Carencross with 3M in the pre-race, and it was really cool. I mean, just it's a big deal for them, and the crowd showed up. I mean, and even the 3M workers got like a little bit extra stuff. They had T-shirts everywhere. It was awesome. Awesome to see that crowd beat the heat. So that was awesome to see. And then it came out officially this week. Jay Kinder is your 2025 Pro Sprint Series Championship. Give a round of applause to Jay Kinder, everybody. Congratulations to Jay. First championship since 2014. You've raced with him, Kade. I mean, when we went back and watched those videos about a month or so ago at your house, I mean, it's that yellow 88, and it's just been the same thing every time, and he's been fast. He's one of the really good guys in the infield, and it's just really cool to see. What a dominant year to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, he's hands down one of the nicest guys in the pit area, and I feel like the most deserving of something like this. Yeah, hell of a season he had, and just we've said it pretty much since the second week of racing that he's going to be the guy to beat, and I think the 500-point lead for the past like 4 weeks kind of set that in stone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Let's get some sponsors on the Yellow 88. You got Cone Corner. Shout out Cone Corner for hopping on.
Hey, one of the sweets, I can't remember the number, but Sweet 19. Sweet 19. Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
He's put a different name, duct tape on the side of his car. He's had happy birthday. He's had everything. Jay's a great guy, and I'm happy for him, and he can celebrate his championship. We have one more night left of Pro Sprints. Unfortunately, they had a night taken away, but it's out of the interest of time. We are going to have a lot of cars next week for Weiler Night. It's always been that way before Nationals, and just because of that, one of the Pro Sprint races got axed, so there's only one more race this year. Obviously, can't make that up. So congratulations to Jay. Heck of a season for him, and we'll see if he can get one more. I mean, technically, he doesn't even have to show up if he didn't want to, but he'll be there, trying to cap it off with a win. So our Randall Roofing 360s in action. Our 360 shootout, a lot of money was on the line. Clint Garner and Tyler Gronendijk were the quick time qualifiers. Both got $1,000. I was curious if they were going to do that, but I'm glad they did, because kind of would have been unfair for the back half of the field. But Clint Garner and Tyler Gronendijk get $1,000. Speaking on Tyler Gronendijk real quick, Kade, you tallied it up. He finished with what, $4,000 last night, because he also was part of the where he finished. He got an extra $1,000 plus where finishing 11th finished.
Yeah, he made out like a bandit last night for sure.
And he damn near the weekly winners share is what he made in bonus, right?
Yeah, I mean, that is what he made in bonus.
Yeah. I mean, that's. And I remember he told us last week, he's like, I'm just going to take it like a normal night. But he probably gets back to his pit and he's like, oh, yeah, $1,000. So,
which, again, we shout out to the 360 Booster Club, all the sponsors that put that up. It's so cool. We're going to touch on a few of the other bonus winners and stuff, but it's so cool that you have such a unique opportunity for the whole field that got to race for those. So really, really cool.
We had it as well in the B mains, brought to you by Slideways. Chris Morgan and Hank Davis brought home the Slideways bonus wheel. Hank Davis was in the Verville 01, so they just continue to rotate through drivers. I don't think I've seen who they have in the car for 360 Nationals, because Hank Davis, I think, is going to be in the Beaver Drill and Tool 11X, I think I saw. But good to see Hank Davis there. He finished 4th in the B. So he got $1,000 for the wheel, but then he also got $1,000 more because the first car out of the B, or the first car to not transfer, got, or I think was it only top 2? I can't remember, but
top 2.
Top 2. So he just missed the extra $1,000, but he got $900, I think, for finishing 4th. So $1,900 for him. And then Chris Morgan, Josh, you said it. Chris was smiling like crazy when he got out of the car. He finished 11th in the B, and usually you'd be like, man, that's a tough night. But Chris Morgan parks, and they're like, hey, buddy, you won $1,000. Yeah,
it was cool because he was right behind on the opposite side of the little access road, behind Kade. So I was over there at the time, and that was what was cool, because you get out of the car and you're kind of probably bummed. You finish 11th in the B, and not what you were looking for when you show up, but then you get a cool $1,000 check. Makes it feel a little bit better, I'm guessing.
And
Not
think
only
we're
his
good.
reaction, but his pit crew reaction was awesome
Yeah.
too. They were, as he was passing cars, they were jumping up and down, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what are they so excited about? And Maggie's like, oh yeah, the next spot that he gets is the extra $1,000, and I'm like, hell yeah, go get it.
That's really cool. I mean, yeah, and obviously, Kade, unfortunately, was on the other end of it. He comes into the pits and is like, "You missed it by one spot." So, I mean,
Womp womp.
it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It is awesome. Thanks to Slideways for doing that, because it could have just been an A main thing. Easily could have been an A main thing, but Slideways stepped up and said, "We'll make it a B main thing as well." So, that's really cool. I think we saw race of the year at the Knoxville Raceway, both 360, 410, Pro Sprint, all combined. And that's saying something, because we've had a lot of good shows in the 410s this year. But one of the best races of the year was seen in our 360 shootout. Clint Garner, Carson McCarl, Tasker Phillips, even Austin McCarl battled all night long. 7 lead changes. Eric Arnold tweeted that out here this afternoon. I don't even know where to start. I mean, I guess we can quickly touch on the start. Tasker was on the front row with Clint Garner, and Tasker was on the berm coming off of turn 4. I'm not really sure what happened, but Tasker started the race like halfway on the berm, and that just gave him a terrible start. So Clint Garner took advantage, and they just kept doing. So I guess we can talk about it in general, the battling before we get to the finish and what happened later. But boy, it was unbelievable to watch through traffic, Kade, just slider after slider. And it's not like the top, you couldn't get away on the top. And that's what, do you think, probably made it as good as it was?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the lanes were pretty equal. Definitely the bottom was a little bit better in 1 and 2. I think the top was just a little bit too far up to get the launch down the straightaway. Obviously, we'll talk about it here in a minute, but Clint ended up getting a good run on the restart. But other than that, like, it was pretty hard to get off that corner. But yeah, that was just two really good race car drivers duking it out and sliding through lap cars. And I watched the replay this morning, and it was cool to watch.
And you told us you think it could have been better, arguably.
Yeah, not even so much like trying to shit on anybody. Obviously, I always talk about how good our track prep crew is, and this is nothing that's their fault by any means. But the track was, like, I would guess 5 feet too wide on the top. Like, if the top was 5 feet further down and you could get off the corner better, great racing. The top would have been, like, both lanes would have been equal through both corners, and it would have been nuts.
Yeah, because to that point, like, we had 3 lanes pretty much for both features,
Yeah.
and like it is crazy if you go back and you look at Eric, what he posted on Twitter, like, just seeing how many changes there were. Like, what was it? Nobody led for more than like 5 laps at a time. Besides, like, Clint.
Read that off, Josh? Do you have that?
Yeah. So yep, Clint led. He led laps 1 through 6. Tasker got him for 7 and 8. Clint got it back for 9 through 11. Then Carson led lap 12. Garner took it back from laps 13 to 17. Carson 18 to 19. Austin slid him, led 20, and then Carson led the last 5 laps, 21 through 25. And yeah, you got to go back and watch it. It's all over the Dirt Vision and Knoxville Raceway socials, YouTube. It was incredible. Like you said, guys, they were running through lap traffic, sliding each other, doing diamond line cut downs. It was awesome.
It was so fun to watch. And you never know, Kade. I mean, you know, the track surface that we saw, maybe the Duncans maybe think the same thing that you might be thinking, you know, if the cushion comes down. So maybe they put that in the back pocket and just say, all right, let's think about that for if that situation comes up for nationals. Again, you just don't know, but it's cool.
I wasn't in Knoxville all day, so I don't know if it got sunny at all down there. But something you usually see is turns 1 and 2 bake a little bit more because of the sun being able to hit it, which you have the shade from the guardrails, you know, in 3 and 4. So usually that is something that we tend to see. I don't know if that factored into it at all last night, like I said, because I wasn't there to see the track during the day. But yeah, still, hats off again to the Duncans. We say it every week, but they deserve that praise pretty much every week.
Yeah, I just had to throw that in there before I even said what I was going to say, because I didn't want anybody coming at me saying that I was talking bad about the track crew.
Never. I mean, we mean it. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Especially what we saw out in Eldora. You know, we're going to touch on that later. And yeah, you got to call that stuff out, because it's easy for people on the internet to throw shade when
Monday morning quarterback after the race. Yeah, seriously. JJ Hickle spun with 6 to go. I didn't see what happened. I don't know if anybody.
He did post. I didn't see it, but it sounds like he maybe just got up on the berm too much and it just pulled him around, is what he said in his race day post.
Okay, so just got up over the berm a little bit. That bunched the field back up with 6 to go. So you had Carson, then you had Clint Garner, and then I think it was Tasker, then Austin, or no, it was, and I don't know. Too much was happening.
It was changing so much, yeah.
There was so much happening. So Carson gets going on the restart. Carson goes bottom. Clint goes top. And despite the lane being so far up, because it was a restart, Garner just got that thing wound up coming off of turn 2. They're side by side going into 3, and Clint just kind of got stuck in between the 2 right side wheels of Carson, and he was just kind of, it's kind of like a puzzle piece. They just kind of fit together, and there was contact, and Clint Garner goes backwards and spins. Didn't flip. Nobody hit him. It damaged the nose wing pretty bad. But a lot of people on social media kept saying Carson just flat out raced him way too hard, and he wrecked him. I don't see it. I don't think he did. I think it was just a racing deal. And unfortunately, it's 2 guys going for $15,000. There's still 6 to go. You know you can get an advantage. And it was a racing deal, in my opinion.
So for another non-driver here, and then Kade, I definitely want your opinion from the driver's seat here, because I agree with you, Blake. If you go live, I thought it was a little more questionable. But when I went back and I got to see the replay, it doesn't really look like Carson turns at all. Like, it looks like, 2 guys with whatever it was, like probably 6, 7, 8 laps left, racing for $15,000 to win on a night where they usually don't pay that. So, between air and stuff like that, it's just 2 guys that didn't want to give an inch, and that's on them if they don't want to do that. Thankfully, Clint didn't get any worse than that, because I walked by later and it looked like the left front shock and stuff was kind of jacked up too. So it was a really good thing that he didn't dig that left front end, because he could have went for a hell of a ride. But I don't see the intent there, Kade. From you've been in those situations. What's it like on both Carson's seat and Clint's seat when you're racing that close?
Clint kind of had nowhere to go by the time he got there. And then, by the time he got there, it was too late for Carson to see him. And once Carson saw him, it wasn't like like you said, it wasn't like he turned right and intentionally tried to stuff him in the fence or anything. It was just really close racing for 15 grand, like you said. And I don't see any ill intent on Carson's end there. If he was going to do it, I feel like he'd have been watching the board and he would have done it a little bit sooner.
And like I said, could have been way worse. I mean,
Absolutely.
It is amazing everybody missed him. All night long, everybody missed, like J.J. Hickle, nobody hit him. Jack Anderson, in 6, nobody hit him when he spun in the 410 race. Scott Boguski, nobody hit him. Again, we'll talk about it at Eldora, but it's a different situation kind of, but at the same time, give credit to everyone at Knoxville for missing. And we could have had some bad wrecks, but we didn't. And it stinks for Clint. He did rebound for 19th with nose wing damage. But, I mean, that nose wing was askew. I mean, that thing was quite broken. So the fact he was able to at least get it back to 19th was big. But if I'm Clint, I'm very happy with the speed. There have been times this year where they have just not had it. On nights where he has had multiple cars in that camp. And he had Kaylee Bryson there last night and still showed fantastic speed. So I think Clint's got to be happy, and he ran well in the 410. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But
he's a content. Like there was a stretch there for a few years where it looked like he maybe just been off his game a little bit, and that happens. Kade, you guys have struggled with your own stuff this year after looking good all of last year, and even though he's a 360 Nationals champion, has won multiple championships in the 360 division, you can be off sometimes, and it definitely seems like the Blue 40 is back on their stuff though, and he might be a contender come Nationals time, the way that he's been looking here lately.
Yeah, anyone that's ever actually counted him out doesn't know Clint Garner.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I could see a world where he's got a chance on Saturday night of the 360 Nationals this year.
Because he's qualifying well and he's racing well, and
Yep.
you have to do both of those things, as we all know, to perform it. When the lights are the brightest down there.
The restart came with 6 to go, and it was a pair of brothers. You had the McCarl brothers 1-2, and the Phillips brothers 3 and 4. The Phillips brothers unfortunately got together, and it kind of derailed their part of the night. Luckily, they didn't stuff it, but they almost did. I can't believe they didn't. And then the McCarl brothers battled 1-2. Austin, they just threw sliders. I mean, in turn 3 was the go-to spot. We didn't really see many slider attempts in 1 and 2, but 3 and 4 was the place to do it. Austin ended up leading lap 20, like Josh said, and then Carson was able to garner back a run down the back straightaway and got him in 3 and 4 on the very next lap, and then set sail. Austin could never catch him, and Carson McCarl comes away with $15,000. It's a great win for Carson. It's the biggest win of his career up to this point, and he was I couldn't tell, seemed kind of emotional in victory lane. I know it's big to win these races. I think it's even better when you beat your brother, and I think that really meant a lot to Carson, and the dude had the car to beat. I mean, it was one of the fastest cars with him in the 40, and I think it's just a little bit sweeter, like I said, when he beat another brother.
Yeah, he drove his ass off too. It wasn't like he had an easy sail. Even once he got past Austin, they traded sliders for a couple laps, and Carson's feeling good about beating Big Brother.
Yeah. I mean, that was the thing that was the most impressive to me, is because we've seen it many times where, you get a really fast and good car like Austin. We know how good he is there because he's a multi-time champion. He's probably most likely on his way to his third straight 410 championship. He won the shootout last year, and Carson answered right back. He answered right back when Tasker slid him, when Clint slid him, and like you said, Blake, I agree. He showed that he had the best car, because any time he needed to step it up and make a move, he was able to do it and complete the move. And he was definitely fired up in victory lane. You could tell he had I don't know, because there was some boos there too. You could hear some Clint Garner fans probably weren't happy with what happened with those guys, and he was kind of relishing it a little bit. Pulling a little Aaron Reitzel with the ear thing. So cool though, because don't take our word for it. He said it's the biggest win of his career, and we had plans to have him on. Unfortunately, some things came up, but I think we're still going to try to catch up with him here within the next week or so we can kind of walk through what that night was like for him from his seat.
I will say this goes with Ayrton and this goes with Carson, and maybe Kade, you can touch on the subject. When you guys are in victory lane, I love a good wing dance. Wing dances are awesome. Oh, yeah. But in my opinion, I wish y'all would take the helmet off, because I love seeing your face. I love seeing the emotion. And you guys, they're so animated. You're pumping your fists. Ayrton did the same thing. But because of the mouth, I can never tell if y'all are yelling or screaming or anything else.
I was last year.
Yeah. So, yeah. You have the video, Josh, from Victory Lane, and I just can't hear. I
don't think they're yelling. So, yeah. I think Cody Hildreth, he said the same thing in our comments. It's hey, nobody's yelling. How are you not excited?
Awkward. He's just like.
How'd that go, Blake?
I mean, I was just I don't know. I just thought that was really funny. I love the emotion. I mean, I love it. But part of me is like, man, I like seeing your face, and I like guys screaming and whatnot and being so happy. Now, pounding the wingboard's pretty good. But no, happy for Carson. Heck of a win. Caleb Johnson goes 24th to 9th in, I think, his first 360 start of the year. No surprise for the 6K. $2,000 brought to by Charlie Levitt for the Hard Charger Award. Really cool. Good speed out of him. Dustin Selvage got it to P10. He went plus 10, so good run for DGRD. Ian Madsen, boys, plus 11 up to P3. He got around the Tasker Phillips and Sawyer Phillips combination over there when they got together in turn 4. He took advantage of it. I don't know if he would have had a winning car if they had another restart, but Seidenkranz should be very happy with that 64, considering the speed they have brought. And Ian's going to be a perfect fit here for the 360 Nationals.
No doubt.
Yeah, it was fast the last time he drove that car, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Giles, P4, recovered. I was very happy to see that. Another guy who needed a good finish.
He had some moments with his Matt Morrow Racing teammate. Not in the they're not the same team in the 360s, but man, I was up in the tower with Matt and they were sliding each other. You could tell he was like, oh, we don't need you guys hitting each other. But yeah, like you said, Blake, it was great to see Ryan get a good finish because they've been so fast and just had bad luck.
And then Sam Haferteep Jr. goes to P7 plus 9. Did he take off on the late restart, Kade?
Yeah.
Okay, so he turned it on. Do you learn anything racing around like him? I mean, for someone that's been so good in the 360 and is, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a future Hall of Famer. I don't care what you say, but you learn anything from him?
You figure out for sure where your racecraft's at. Yeah. Like if you mess up on a slider on that guy, he's gonna make you look stupid.
It was good to see him. I mean, it's good to see him back. I think this was his first time at 360 here. He's tried the 410, I think, earlier this season, but good to see Sam Haferteep Jr. here. There's a guy that you have to circle for the 360 Nationals. And then your point standings, I pulled them up on my side page here. So Tasker Phillips is closing in on, I don't think he can officially clinch it till probably championship night when they'll come down to it, because they're still racing to go. Next week is a points night. Is it show up points for 360 Nationals, Kade?
I honestly have no idea.
Okay.
I don't believe that there is.
Based off what we've seen, it might not be. They might just make y'all race for the point. Tasker is 322 points ahead of Tyler Gronendijk. And people keep saying, they're like, man, it's probably going to take a Tasker Phillips wreck. But besides last night when him and Sawyer had that issue, Tasker's actually been pretty clean for the most part. And I don't know. I mean, he told us his mindset won't change, but maybe it's just his racecraft has changed a little bit, not because of the points, but it's just like you just change as a driver.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been driving a lot more with his head than I expected him to once he got the Don Long engines in, and those things rip. So it's easy to make mistakes when you're going. You kind of heard Carson say it last night. When you're going that much faster than people, you got to kind of like pump the brakes and make sure you don't mess up. And huge props to Tasker for doing that and doing it well.
He's been great this year. And I mean, if you look at the 410 side, you know, what happened there. I mean, he got crashed in the first week, which was nothing of his own doing. He just got completely cleaned out. And then to your point, Kade, you know, shit's happening quick. And he made a small mistake, got together with JJ and junked another car. And that's 2 nights out of however many we've ran so far. Like, yeah, it's been impressive. And honestly, I feel like a long time coming for him just because of how successful and fast he has shown that he can be, especially in the 360. That's going to be one hell of a party if he clinches it on championship night.
I think the whole crowd might join him down there at that trailer.
Yeah. When you were asking, about who people were cheering for in the stands.
Yeah, Tasker.
I'm sure you're shocked to hear that Tasker got the biggest pop by far.
Yeah, it's awesome. Tyler Gronendijk is 322 back. Clint Garner 382. So Clint, I think, would have been second, all things considering, if that wreck didn't happen. Ryan Giles gets back to fourth. Jamie Ball is fifth. Cam Martin sixth. Terry McCarl seventh. Dustin Selvage is eighth. Cade Higday's back to the top 10. You bet your bottom dollar he is. And then Tony Ross is 10th. Cade's going to be in a tight battle here with Tony and then Timothy Smith here for that 9th position as Dustin Selvage is kind of taken off. But that's your point standings for the 360s. I hope this, just to kind of put a bow on it, I'd love to see the money just keep going up. I know it's obviously awesome what they have done. The money is phenomenal as it is. If it was $15,000 every year, awesome. If it goes back down to $10,000, awesome. But, man, I'd love to see it just keep growing. And I think, I'd like to see it not on Kings Royal weekend in a way. Like, I just think getting more and more cars a part of it. But in some ways, maybe it's not a bad thing because we didn't have Ryan Timms. We didn't have Kerry Madsen. We didn't have Brian Brown jump hit down here in a 360. But it's so good for you guys, Cade. And I think you spoke on it earlier. But let's keep this thing around because I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, from the sounds of it, it's not going anywhere. It's just going to keep getting bigger and better from what I understand. And it's obviously, as a racer and more so a team owner, it's a great race for us 360 guys. And hopefully it's around for a long time.
And just look at from the people that benefited from those bonuses, like it kind of worked out the way that you would kind of want things to work out.
Yeah.
Like I know that Caleb's not really a 360 guy anymore, but that's a local team. That's a team that is really based around Knoxville, and you had I believe Chris Morgan. He's a Malvern Bank guy, right? The races with
I believe so. Yes,
the Malvern Bank series. So that that allowed them to come in, and Hank Davis. Like it's cool. To your point, it wasn't the big teams that kind of just come in and clean up like a lot of people tend to complain about online about the 360 Nationals as we've beaten to death here. But
we're gonna ask every single driver.
We sure are. Got to spread the word. We're kind of seeing the trend from how the drivers think. But again, huge shout out to everybody involved. I know Alan D. High is a big part of that. The 360 Booster Club and all the sponsors. It's really, really cool, and I hope that it sticks around for a long time.
Our 410s also responded with a pretty good show in their own. The night kicked off with one of the best things we've seen this year. Jack Anderson scores his first career quick time. It was awesome to see. I saw him sitting down by the ambulances right after he got his lap, and he watched every single car go by. I think Cam Martin was standing down there with him, and he's checking his phone and everything else, and he got it. He got the quick time. Only driver in the 15s, which was awesome. He has said all year, Josh, and probably to UK, he's like, man, we just got to qualify. If we qualify well, I think we're going to be okay. And he goes out and does it. Wade's on it, as Wade always is. Got the great video of the whole team celebrating. You'd have think
really
they just
cool.
won the race. I mean, it was so cool to see.
Yeah, it's a huge deal too. They deserve that celebration, I think, and super cool to see Jack get a quick time. We all know he's plenty talented. They like he always says, you just got to qualify better, and he definitely did. Obviously, we'll touch on it later, but didn't finish the night the way that they wanted to, but shook it up with AMAC in the heat race there for a little bit, and definitely made it spicy.
Talk about popular drivers. That's another one right there.
The whole crowd. I mean, in his pit stall after the race, so many people go there. I mean, he is quickly becoming one of the favorites, and
for good reason. Good reason.
And Tony really tried to hit on it, as we have on the podcast here. That team ain't making the money of the cars that he beat. Nowhere near the
Not
facilities,
even close.
nowhere near the that 17 car. It is unbelievable to see the speed out of that. And it's the driver, plus it's the team that puts the work in and the family behind it all. Those people want to win more than anything. And we say Rico, if Rico ever wins the Nationals, Knoxville will burn down. Jack might as well just bring a match as well, because he would burn the place down if he won. I can tell you that. And that family would burn the place down if they won. And it's only a matter of time. And, we don't have it here on the heat race, but I think he learned a little bit in the heat race. I tweeted that out to Knoxville Mods. I think Austin McCarl took him to school a little bit.
Yeah.
Going into turn one, it was like, all right, kid, are you going to lift or am I going to lift? And I think Jack said, okay, I'm going to lift. And Austin took it over. But, man, Jack's just learning. And it was that heat race. That was kind of fun.
It's funny you mentioned that, because, Kade, when you said something about, if you learned anything from Sam in the feature, I was thinking, Jack kind of learned something from Austin, because I honestly think if he commits to a block on Austin down the front stretch with whatever it was, 2 to go.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably starting right up front in the feature, which would have been really interesting.
Yeah,
for sure.
But you live and learn, right?
Yeah. And I bet he'll think about that. I mean, and he kind of got stuck in his heat race. He started 6th. We can just touch on it here. He was battling with somebody, I think Ian Madsen or someone. It was early in the race, and he kind of got up over the cushion and then just kind of slid back down the track. He's lucky he didn't catch anyone else. And then did something break beforehand, Kade, do you think? Or did something break when he got up over the cushion and bounced and then came down and then he just spun it out? I mean, again, lucky nobody hit him, but what do you think from your side?
I honestly don't know. It wasn't like that lap that it broke, it wasn't like he was doing anything stupid.
Yeah.
It just, the car just spun around.
And it was dragging
weird.
When he spun it around.
Yeah.
Back. You could see it on the left front.
Yep.
But I don't know. It was
weird deal. And it sounds like it may have been similar to what happened with when he crashed big in turn 1. So hopefully that can get straightened out, because we don't need stuff like that breaking at speed.
Every Snapchat he sends me, he's in the shop. I've never seen him outside the shop. I mean, he's working. He wants this bad, and I think that'll make the first win just so much more. Ayrton Gennetten caught the 8-car invert. Was that the first 8 we've seen out of our Think and Ink invert draw?
I think so.
So
I'm glad it wasn't a damn 0 again.
Yeah, dang. I mean, we got to get rid of that 0. Knoxville, we know you sometimes listen. We got to get rid of the 0. I mean, we got to change something. We don't need a 0. Austin McCarl was batting for the lead, and then his mud cover came off. And that thing turns into a flying missile when that thing goes flying, so he's lucky it didn't go to the infield. We've talked about that before. I mean, those things are crazy. And then mud, just plenty of mud, got packed into the inside of the wheel. He pulled it in, and Tony described it, Kade, as his teeth were probably chattering and he couldn't even see straight. Is that an accurate depiction of what was happening with Austin McCarl when the mud?
Yes, that is 115% accurate.
There's a video on the internet of a guy that clearly has something broken on his wheel on the interstate, and he's turning it. It's like that's all.
Yeah, it's like that times 10.
And he pulled it in, so Austin comes in, and they're like, "All right, we got to clean out the inside of the wheel." Well, the mud is so caked in there, strong, heavy mud, that they really couldn't do it. So they said, "All right, we'll put our another wheel cover on." Well, they put the wheel cover on, and here comes the field back around. They have to push, and they didn't get the wheel cover on. They push Austin, and away goes the wheel cover, and it did not stay on.
It was
So
the saddest little thing, just rolling slowly.
And Ryland followed it with his camera the whole way. He didn't even look at Austin. He's like, and there goes the wheel cover. So he dealt with that for the whole race, but he did recover for 12th. So if you're Austin, I mean, you got to think what else could happen, because the top wing has come apart. The mud flap, just so many things have caught him off guard this year. And on a night
Mud
where
flap.
a lot of his
I couldn't. Sorry.
mud flap came on. Yeah, we run mud flaps in sprint cars. His mud cover came off, and then he just can't catch a break. And on a night where most of the top 5 in points wasn't here, you just feel like it's a big missed opportunity.
Yeah, but thank God it was on the night that nobody was here.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a lot more dramatic if it was a normal night.
His lead is a perfect 400 now over Brian Brown. It's pretty much all sealed up in a way.
And it is crazy. I mean, he ran really, really well, with like High Limit and the Outlaws early in the season. You kind of felt like could have won some of those races, and then he's just been kind of snake bitten. He hadn't picked up his first win of the year at all until Thursday with the Sprint Invaders at Oski. So that might be one of those things where he kind of goes on a streak. I know that's a little cliche to say, but I mean that car is really fast and he can drive. So it wouldn't surprise me if he starts rattling some stuff off here.
And I know it eats at him. Like, it's going to really eat at him if he wins the championship and he didn't win. Because I think he did that 2 years ago or something like that. But it happens. I mean, he's still consistent. He's consistent as all get out. He's here every week, which helps. But
you'd almost rather have that. I know maybe you don't love to say that as a driver, Kade, but you kind of like what Gravel's doing. Gravel's doing both. He's uber consistent and winning all the time. But if you're constantly in the top 5, that's going to be really good for you, point wise, money wise, all that stuff. But you want to park it at the end of the night. For sure.
What would you feel, Kade, if you want to say you win a 360 championship, but you didn't win a race? What would you think?
I would feel no differently about it. The check at the end of the year still pays the same amount of money.
Winning's fun, is it not?
It is, but you still win. You get a big trophy to take home and a pretty big check nowadays. So. I wouldn't feel any different about it if I won a championship without winning a race. I honestly
there
wouldn't
goes
care.
that point. Thanks, Kade. All right, next. I love when Josh and I get ready to see something up. We're like, yeah, Kade's going to say something good. And Kade says, nah.
Shut down.
Hey, it's real life, man. Just like what people say on the internet about those 360 drivers. They're so angry about the 410 guys. But
just terribly upset.
Somebody told Josh and I've heard a couple people, they're like, man, you guys have great chemistry. I'm like, is it chemistry or is it just we just love messing with each other?
Probably both.
Yeah, I think
a little bit of both.
It helps that we're friends. All right. Scott Boguski and Ayrton Gennetten were battling early and often. They were throwing great, clean sliders. And I think Scott even told Ayrton that afterwards, from what I heard, that especially after a week of rough racing in Eldora, good, clean racing. They never touched anything else. Scott goes into turn 1 on the bottom. First of all, Scott has had a really rough season since he wrecked with Haferteep earlier in the year. And finally qualified well. Like, the car's rolling. And I was like, man, all right, here it is. Here's for Scott. And then he goes into turn 1, and it just spins. It just goes. And I don't know if it's how the setup was. I don't know if anything Scott did in the car did it. But he slides back up the racetrack, and Ayrton Gennetten somehow missed him. I mean, we talk about the brakes on these cars, Kade. He had to be full bore, waiting to get around and then fire it back up.
How easy is that to do when you go in at speed like that and you just miss the bottom? How on the razor edge are you guys?
It's really easy to spin out, honestly. And the bottom was so narrow last night. It seemed like Gennetten did a really good job hitting it and hitting it well. I mean, I think there was 2 or 3 laps that he messed up, and after that he kind of moved up. But damn near flawless down there on Gennetten's end. And Blake, were you surprised that Boguski qualified well?
I wasn't. I did notice how I did not say surprised. Yeah, I was not surprised.
I was gutted for him though.
Excited.
Yeah. Because Scott's a great dude, and that
He
it sucks, man. Because they have struggled, and I don't know if it's just you maybe junk your good car and then you struggle. Because speaking of that, Ayrton, the last time they were at Knoxville, that was the same car. He told us in the Jetco trailer talk that they basically changed everything on it after that because of how bad they were the last time here. And when you're racing with some of the best in the country every week, it's probably tough on you. And at least Scott has that. They have the speed. He showed it. One small mistake, and that just goes to show how quickly things can go sideways. And another guy that I was really really bummed for was JJ Hickle. Lost his engine while running second, and probably had the car to win if if you're really watching the whole top 5 throughout that race. Just sucks, man.
So, fun fact about that. So, we're still, Tony and I were going crazy. Tony's talking about Mama's meatloaf over there in turn 1 when Scott spun. So, we're losing our minds because it was such a fun battle for the lead. And then all of a sudden, Tony turns over, and here comes JJ down the work area. And I gave Josh a shout on our Dirt Vision because I looked down and I see on my phone, and Josh is like, oh my gosh, JJ's blowing up. So I didn't see it. Was Matt up there in the tower with you?
He was.
So
yeah,
was there smoke out of the back of the two that okay, so we missed
a couple laps before, and it is cliche, but damn it if it isn't true that you always hear that the motors run best right before they go. I'll be damned if he wasn't running the best lap times out of everybody. Because I was watching it, and I saw a little puff of smoke with like 2 laps before it happened going into 3, and then you could just hear it. You could hear the pitch change, and as soon as that yellow came out, and people were a little bit lower in speed, and you could hear a little bit better. Matt heard it and said we blew up, and that was it.
Do you think it would have survived, Kade? Maybe.
No chance.
Would have gone. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's a tough break for JJ. I give credit to Matt Morrow. He could have said no to Wade being interviewed, but Matt I don't know if he wanted to or not, but Wade caught an interview with Matt just right there after it happened. And Matt shows
the kind of guy Matt is.
Yeah, I don't have quotes from it, but it was just like, it sucks. We were running fast. And unfortunately, that team just can't catch a break this year, it feels like. No. But really strong run for JJ. Unfortunately, comes to an end. Shout out.
Watch out for them, though. Watch out for both of those cars because they show when they stay together, those things are damn fast. And JJ, we talked about it with him just a couple weeks ago. They struggled early on to get him comfortable, but he is comfortable now. Yeah. And he had a car capable of winning last night.
Absolutely. Ayrton Gennetten holds off Ian Madsen, who goes +7. I looked up on the restart and I told Tony, look who's in second. Ian Madsen in the 2KS. So happy for him. That's 2 podiums of the night for Ian. I think 2 heat race wins for him as well, again. But Ayrton Gennetten goes to victory lane for the 2nd time in his career at the Knoxville Raceway. Carson McCarl was coming. I think if he had a little bit more time, I think Carson could have gotten there. Ayrton tells us in our Jetco trailer talk, Josh, it was his best car since he won back in 2022. And he knows that. He said they've struggled, and they have struggled. I'll tell it straight up. Yep. Statistically, they have been terrible at Knoxville. But I think just right place, right time. He took off. He did, I think, unless he caught lap traffic in the end, he was clearly the fastest car in the end. And
Kade said it. He was pounding the bottom really well. And even the Knoxville Moths, they pointed that out, how thin it had gotten by the end of the night. And we did see it with Scott, just how easy it is to miss that, and you could spin her around. So really cool. Ayrton's awesome, and it was good to see him. He was rightfully jacked up in victory lane. It's cool seeing that special helmet paint scheme in victory lane. That thing turned out amazing, by the way. Really, really cool. So yeah, hopefully, the way it sounds, he may not be back except for only the Nationals.
Yep, so, 410 Nationals is when he signed it. Yep. He's not coming back next week. He's going to go run Power I. Yep. And then, so check out that interview, our Jetco trailer talk. Really good stuff.
Yes.
Jamie Ball brings it home 5th. I think one of his best career finishes, might be his best career finish in a 410. Linton Jeffrey goes +12. Good run for Linton. He was flying at the end. I mean, he was on a tear. Clint Garner.
That's a few in a row for him now.
Yeah, he's starting to get it going.
Get that qualifying down.
Josh Schneiderman brings it home 9th. Clint Garner, like we talked about, goes 8th. And Sammy Swindell goes +11 and finishes 11th. That's awesome. I don't care what you say. Now, I will say that car sounded about as bad as I have ever heard a race car in hot laps or qualifying. That thing, oh, my gosh. I've never heard a car sound like that. But Flea and those boys got that thing figured out. And I'll give a lot of credit to Sammy. I had a top wing of a diecast, and I wanted him to sign it, and I had him sign it before the race, and he was super nice about it. So that's really cool. We don't know how much longer he'll be racing, but he's almost 70 years old, and he's still kicking it with the top 12 at Knoxville. And then Austin McCarl has pretty much all but locked up the championship here in the 410. He's closing in, Josh, on his dad, Terry. He has been the model of consistency here at Knoxville, and it's going to be tough for someone to beat him. But like we talked about, Austin McCarl closing in.
Yeah, it's very impressive. It seems kind of quiet the way he's done it also. And I don't know if it's just because he hasn't been as dominant, racking up, the 4, 5, 6, 7 win seasons like we have seen in the past, but, can't take anything away from him. He has been the model of consistency, and that's why he's always a threat every week.
Absolutely.
We might have to do a trailer talk with him and see if he's going to be upset if he goes a whole year without a win. I think he might say the same thing, that it all pays the same.
Yeah. I still don't fully believe you deep down. I think that you would still be a little upset though.
I'd want to see you win a race.
Obviously I want to, but I'm not going to be pissed if I don't.
I'd love to see Kade Higday win a race. Kade Higday did win in 2025 because he won our Kings Royal picks. What a
That's
time.
right.
Kade Higday. Yeah,
that's
you're
right.
He is a winner this year, so don't put it past him. Kade wins our Kings Royal picks. He had unbelievable picks. Abreu, Schuhart, Reitzel. Abreu goes third, first, and second. Schuhart goes second, 9th, 12th, and 8th. And despite Aaron Reitzel unfortunately having 2 bad nights, we'll talk about Josh and I's picks. They had a worse week. Reitzel goes first, 4th, 23rd when he wrecked. Unfortunately, did not start. We'll talk about that. I'm going to say we'll talk about that a lot. So I'm not going to say it because I'm just going to keep saying it because we got plenty to talk about. Gravel, 24th, 14th in the B, 24th plus DQ. 14th in the B, 4th and 5th. Giovanni Silzi goes 19th and then didn't have a job the rest of the week. Buddy Kofoid goes 6th, 22nd, 5th, 13th. And then I went Larson, Schatz, Courtney. Larson goes 3rd, 1st, 3rd. Schatz goes 15th, 11th in the B, 6th in the B, 16th. Tyler Courtney goes 4th, 23rd. Did not start the last 2 nights because of injury. And then also on our picks, Kade won that too. Oh my gosh, it's 2 wins in 2025. It's a 4th place finish for Ryan Giles. Tasker Phillips finishes 5th. That's who Josh picked. And I picked JJ Hickle, who went 23rd.
I told him to pick himself, so if he would have picked himself, he would have done really well. So
I guess
that's what I'm going to stick with.
I guess I just can't. I can't do that. That's odd.
I mentioned you on my show, or on my show. I mentioned you on my preview on Friday or Saturday. I don't know if you watched it. You probably didn't watch it, but
I didn't. I caught. I was scrolling through Facebook and I caught the 3M bag up in the air.
It was good. I even showed my wife that. She got a good kick out of that with you sliding from the 3M
It's been sitting in my living room here on the side in a box, so I'm like, I could probably use that as a prop. But
check those out, by the way. Blake won't pump them up, but I see the numbers. You get a lot of views on those pre-race and post-race.
I started
things.
on TikTok. I don't know.
Cool. It's cool stuff. More content.
Get the TikTok rolls going. Get your face out in front of more people.
Yep.
I'm not looking for relationships in life, but there are women on TikTok. You never know. I didn't say that, but
Yeah,
you just gotta get yourself out there. I mean, I don't do dating apps. I'm just saying. But
we took a turn real quick there.
Going down a rabbit hole now.
Check us out on Tinder at the Knoxville. I appreciate it, Josh. I like putting them together. And yeah, I mentioned Kade just as one to watch. I truly did believe that, and I do believe it. I put you down, and I think you made me look pretty good, most things considering. I didn't say anything about Carson, but I did mention Austin McCarl, and I mentioned Riley Goodnow. But if anyone hasn't seen him, it's just info. I give you a quick weather update for what we're going to see, and then just anything else you might need to know. So.
And let us know in the comments if you want anything else. Like I mentioned before, we're trying to boost our YouTube channel some more and give more content. Look for that during the Nationals. By the way, we've got some really cool ideas.
Kade as a photographer, I want to see that.
We might, we might do that.
Yes.
I kind of want to do a race day vlog with Kade on maybe on his prelim night. So
I can try to do it.
I think
that'll be cool.
Yeah.
we're gonna, if anybody's listening, we'll hold it back if it's not. But there was news this week, and I don't think it's anything crazy, so we'll just kind of keep it. But Chase Briscoe is going to be joining us in the booth on Thursday night of the 360 Knoxville Nationals on Dirt Vision. So he's going to be in the booth with Randy and Tony and I. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. So maybe
if that doesn't happen, don't come after Blake.
Yeah, don't come after Blake. I don't think it's anything crazy. It's not like a crazy press release news, but it'll be cool to have Chase
sure.
up there. So, all right, boys, we're 55 minutes in. We'll see you in the next hour here. What a week! What a week in Ohio.
What a week.
We have, so when we put this document together, we have a document on the side. Josh, this week we always put it out early because we knew there was going to be a lot of racing, and every night we have had something to type down. None of these recaps are short. So we thought about putting it in a separate episode of its own, but we're going to keep it together because Carson couldn't join us tonight. So we'll just start at Monday, and we'll just work our way over. So Monday night kicked us off for the second Ohio Speed Week, if you will. Fremont saw the high limit race. Fun track. I hadn't really seen a lot of races there. Heat races took a bit. That one heat race, I think, took half an hour because they just kept wrecking. But the story of the night was the winner. Cole Macedo picks up his first 410 National Series victory, and then he flipped after he crossed the start-finish line, and he flipped big. He didn't just flip. He
flipped his ass off, per the notes here, Blake.
Light going into turn one, and he gets out of the car, and he's happy. He's mad, but he's happy. And then they had to scale it, which was a task in itself. Everyone's like, oh, they're going to fail him, and Larson's going to win. But, man, I'm so happy for Cole Macedo. He is clearly one of the fan favorites. His brother Carson had the video of the night with him celebrating. Like, you think Carson just won. But Cole Macedo goes to victory lane, and unfortunately, and fortunately, it'll be very memorable for how it ended.
Yeah, he'll never forget flipping his ass off after the checkered there.
The air time, dude. Like, he was so
huge.
high in the air.
It was a huge flip.
He took off Kyle Larson in his victory. He's like, I've never seen a guy fly like that.
Yeah. I mean, that whole night, man, like you were mentioning, it was just, honestly, we should have known that some more crazy shit was coming the rest of the week because it was quite the tell there. But I've never seen a car that won have to be, I don't even know what they were, forklifted.
Did it earlier in the year, but it definitely wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but forklifted to the freaking scales and all that stuff. It's crazy. But big congrats to Cole because you felt that one coming. He had to use a freebie because that was a high limit race. So he used one of those freebies, and he used to live in Fremont, it sounds like. So
raced at Fremont.
Yep. The crowd was absolutely behind him, and
he
quite the moment.
He said in his interview so he did the ace in the hole, I think it is. So that's why he started, like, he was quick time, started sixth in his heat race, won his heat race, I think, or second.
So he automatically gets the pole at the bash.
For high limit. So he didn't have to spin the wheel. But when he talked to Tony Laporta, he said he begged his team all season. He's like, we got to do this race. We have to. And I think his team was like, what? Like, we're going to use a freebie on a Monday night show at Fremont? And it paid off. And I don't think that had to be the most satisfying part for him. But, I mean, that's so cool. Like, that's levels like, say Chase Randall, to put this into perspective, say Chase Randall goes and runs full-time. I mean, he's with High Limit. But say High Limit comes back here to Knoxville, and Chase Randall picks up his first national touring win at Knoxville. That's kind of the same thing. He got his teeth, run in here at Knoxville, and then he comes back and wins it. That's kind of the basis of it.
Yeah, that's it.
But
Yep.
Pretty much.
You hit the nail on the head.
Nailed it.
On Tuesday night, we went out to Attica for the Brad Doty Classic. Great show overall. It unfortunately was derailed halfway through for about an hour and a half. Caleb Henry takes a very scary ride. Him and Brady Bacon are battling for one of the final transfer spots in the B. And they just get together in the way that Caleb spun. He went he went cage first, but the top wing was there. The top wing and the cage crunched into the outside fence and kind of put him back on all fours. He was taken to the hospital. He was life-flighted out with the helicopter on the back straight away. He seems to be doing better. He's beat up. He's sore, but he's kicking it on social media. He seems to be in better spirits. But my goodness, man, it was a scary wreck. Like, the broadcast was kind of very hit or miss on it. Like they didn't really talk about it. They never showed it getting cleaned up. Like they didn't show turn 4 for a while, and then 30 minutes later we cut and everything's cleaned up. We haven't heard a thing. So we're just kind of like, is he okay? Again, we'll get more details if he even remembers it, later on. But boy, it was a scary wreck, and a week of scary wrecks that we'll talk about. But man, just bad.
Yeah, it's never good when you have to take a helicopter ride out of a racetrack. Obviously, one of the scariest things that you could ever see, and I'm just really glad that he ended up being okay for the most part, and going to make a full recovery.
Yeah, I mean, heart always sinks when you see somebody with the cage heading at the fence like that, and it was violent. And I don't know, I didn't quite like what I was seeing about Brady Bacon on the socials. Terrible. After.
It was so bad.
You could see, I have a lot of respect for Brady talking to Dirt Vision immediately after that happened, because that's a scary ass thing. When you see somebody that you were just involved in an accident, it's an accident for one. He clearly was not going in there just to clean him out and run him like that. I don't think we've really seen Brady race like that in his career. But you could tell he was shaken up, and rightfully so. Like, these are, one of your competitors. Like, Kade, you might have disagreements with people on a personal level out there, but you don't want to see anything like that happen to anybody, because you guys know that you could be in that spot someday. And so I had a lot of respect. I didn't like the way a lot of the chatter was around Brady, and I just wanted to make sure something was said about that.
Yeah, no matter how big the rivalry is, nobody wants to see another person leave, even in an ambulance.
Let alone a fucking helicopter.
Yeah, it's scary stuff. Yeah, and like you said, Brady's not that kind of racer. He definitely didn't do it intentionally, and he was getting beat up on social media for no reason.
Yeah, it sucked to see it. And you said it. I mean, Brady, you could tell. I mean, he was just as scared about the whole situation as anyone, and they're just racing hard, man. I mean, they're sprint car drivers. What are they supposed to do? Yeah. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. And, if Caleb didn't go to the hospital in a helicopter and they just happened to spin out, we're not having this conversation about, Brady Bacon. I mean, geez, man. I mean, that's not the part of the conversation. So it stinks, but Caleb is on the up and up. It sounds like he's getting better. And we wish the best for Caleb Henry in his recovery. It was a wild feature, I mean, to say the least. Nobody could keep control of their cars.
Nobody wanted to win the damn race, it felt like.
Nobody wanted to win the Brad Doty Classic after being such a prestigious race. Brad did a great job. The whole thing was really good. I know some people were – this is another thing about social media. We're going to talk about social media a lot this next hour, but
people man shaking fist at clouds right now.
They did hot laps, and then they had to take a 45-minute break before qualifying or something. They did qualifying hot laps, whatever. And before the next thing could start, I think it was heat races, they took a 45-minute break till I think 6:30 or 7:30. Well, on the schedule, it says that. It says hot laps at such and such time, 5:15, 6:15 or whatever. And then we will start heat races at 7:30. And people are like, why did they take a 45-minute break? Well, first of all, you can't change the schedule, because I could have been sitting at home and been like, hey, let's go to the track at 7:15. That way, we don't need to watch qualifying. We'll get there at the heat races. They were getting so much crap over all that. And I just thought that was ridiculous. I mean, you set a schedule, you're going to stick to it. And Brad and that whole crew, they stuck to it. And yeah, you had to wait, but it's just part of it. I mean, and I'm sure they'll learn from that next year and be like, okay, we'll shorten that window a little bit, blah, blah, blah. But I was very disappointed to see all the people on social media mad about that. So there's my old man shaking fist in the crowd. I was not very happy about that. But yes, the feature was crazy. Buddy Kofoid spun on his own while battling for the lead. And then Sheldon Hodenshield was leading. I mean, this dude was going to win it. And then he got too aggressive up over the cushion, which, by the way, that cushion was insane. Like, it really wasn't
gnarly.
It was about this thin. And the way Attica is, if you go up over the cushion, you're gone. You're going to the boonies. So Sheldon spins from the lead. And then Carson Macedo is the beneficiary of it all, and he's able to get away with the win. What a big win for Carson Macedo. Good first two nights for the Macedos. But, boy, Attica's a wild track, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. I can't remember who said it, but they thought it was – or maybe that was I'm trying to think of which race that was.
There's a lot
It might
of
have
racing.
been- I think it was Fremont that people were talking that it was kind of like Placerville.
Yeah,
I think that is the
kind
one.
of race like
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yep.
I thought that was Attica for some reason.
A lot of stuff happened this week.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep it all straight.
Yeah,
And I
it
was trying to build a race car while trying to watch this stuff. So
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
all twisted up.
Details.
But good for Carson Macedo. Good for
sure.
Carson Macedo. Good run for him to pick up the win. And it's a heartbreaker for Sheldon Hodgeshield, man, especially from the lead. But you're going to stay aggressive. You can't not be up on the wheel every single lap, and he was just trying to get more speed out of it. So
I think most people would, especially car owners, you probably would rather have to try to turn that off than trying to get somebody to turn that level of aggression on.
yeah.
Yeah. Sucks for him, though. It would have been a big win, a cool win for him in Ohio.
We jumped to our two dual races. I like that. I like the dual race format. I thought it was actually pretty fun that High Limit it was able to put together, and the field split really well. There was a really random rainstorm halfway through the night. Like, it was still sunny, and they come back or cut the camera, and Blake Anderson's like, oh my gosh, it is pouring. And it poured for about 5 minutes, and it delayed the night. We didn't finish till about
It's like midnight, I think.
midnight. Yeah, midnight, 1
Yeah.
o'clock there in Ohio. So big shout out to Eldora. They weren't going to postpone. They weren't going to cancel. They were like, we're going to get this thing fixed. And then I think the bumps were already there, and the bumps we're going to bring up the bumps a ton. So get ready to hear the word bump a lot. But the bumps were there even before. I don't think the rain helped by any means, but there was a major bump in turn 1 that caused multiple flips after the rain. And Giovanni Scelzi took a nasty ride going into turn 1. You had the fastest part of the track was up near the wall, and the bumps, you had to get through the bumps to get to the wall. And Gio took a nasty spill, and we'll talk about it a couple more times, but there's a light in turn 1 at Eldora, and the guys would ride along the fence while they're wrecking, and then they'd catch that light, and then they just stop. I mean, it's like a catch fence. They just stop. And boy, Gio destroyed the race car in the first of many flips we will be talking about. But anything that stands out to that, I guess we can talk about the light. I mean, you can't change the light position, but it's an unfortunate spot that those guys, not only Kade, you're having to deal with flipping and everything else, and then you just stop.
Yeah, that's the worst part of crashing. It's not even the flips that get you. I mean, they might try to pull your eyes out of your head, but that heals up pretty quick. But when you get a sudden stop like that, that really puts a hurting on the head.
And do we just want to jump into the track, the bumps or
let's
ruts,
talk about
holes,
it.
whatever
So-
you want to call it?
Yeah, let's talk about the bumps. So all week long, most of the wrecks, maybe Logan Schuhart's flip was in turn 3 and 4. That was kind of on his own accord. He got in the wall, but pretty much
Same
every
with
wreck,
Tanner, I think.
yeah, every
Yeah.
wreck this week, and Tanner's, yep, sorry. Every week or every day this week, the wrecks were in turn 1, and it was the same exact thing. A guy gets over the bumps, can't control the car, he hits the wall, he flips, and then it's chaos afterwards. The bump issue came apparent on Tuesday night. You're like, man, something's up. And apparently, according to on Tanner Holmes's video during one of his YouTube things, they were working on it. They were kind of touching it, and they just never fully worked on it. So how do we want to go about this on our opinions?
I mean, first off, we're not track prep people,
No.
and we've made that clear that we are not a track like apologists, but we're also not experts by any means. Like these are only our views. Like, you know, we're trying our best because we have friends and everybody that we want to see on a safe surface. I think, and we actually, Kade, I know you and I have spoken with Brad that helps at the Knoxville track prep crew. And he's game to come on here and have a longer form chat with us some night about track prep and how it goes at Knoxville, because I think that could be very illuminating for a lot of people. I mean, myself included. It's interesting stuff. But I just Eldora is a really, really fast racetrack, and they had a number of things that were going against them. They had a lot of rain, so you're going to have a lot of moisture in it, which keeps it fast for longer. And I also don't know, as a non-track prep expert, how that really changes how you can fix something like that if you're getting a kind of intermittent rain and all of that. I wasn't there either. None of us were there, so we don't know. We're only going off of secondhand stuff with what efforts were taken to do that. But you see the safety aspect with Tony, how he has a freaking helicopter at the track at all times, and I don't think they can race without it there. So he takes safety seriously, and I don't think anybody there wants to see the track like it was, but it was that way, and we have to talk about it.
And I want to quickly throw in, Kade, before you mention, and then I'll go my thoughts fully. But Tony Stewart was one of the first guys to every single wreck. Tony is involved, and he is very involved. One of the guys wrecked and flipped. I cannot for the life of me think who it was. Might have been Darren Nida, maybe. I'm not sure for sure. But Tony asked him, apparently, was it the bumps? Like, what'd you think of the bump? And Darren responded, well, my car was broke before I got to the bumps. But Tony, I feel like if he asked that question to Darren, he was probably asking that question to a couple other guys. So, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there, that Tony was first on scene for almost every single one of those accidents. He cares about the drivers. He knows what they've been through. And I just wanted to throw that in. So, Kade, your thoughts on the whole thing?
When the holes first started developing, I won't even say bumps because they were holes.
Yeah, they were.
When it first started developing, I thought, like it might be kind of cool. It might add a extra characteristic to the racetrack, and then
Like Eagle.
yeah,
Same.
exactly. Like Eagle, you hit that thing wrong, you're gonna flip, but you're also not going that fast. Like if you look at Knoxville, we don't ever. It's very rare that we get any sort of impurity in the racetrack. It's usually slick as glass and smooth, and we're just very fortunate with track prep, like we
Like the
always
cushion
say.
peels up sometimes, but that's
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
Yeah, and that's not that big of a deal. It's not like you're gonna do what they were doing in Eldora just because the cushion's peeling up. But yeah, for sure, like you said, Josh, none of us are track prep guys, and I know you asked me in the group chat if there was anything they could do to fix it, and I've got no idea.
And that's like Brad, I don't want to give away too much because I think I'd rather have him speak for himself on this stuff. But during a race night, he basically said, at Knoxville, there's not much you can do.
No.
However, throughout the week, depending on what, and it deals with the clay, the dirt that you have, and all that stuff, water content, whatever. It depends because I know they've put a lot of different dirt on Eldora over the last handful of years. Also, banking changes, etc. All of that, you would think has to factor into it, but I ultimately don't know.
My whole thought process on the whole thing, Tony and I talked about it a lot this week. Both we were texting back and forth. We chatted a lot on Saturday about it and got a couple other guys' opinions. The way Eldora is, you said it. I mean, the whole track's bumpy. I mean, like they go into turn 3, the cars are just rocking. I mean, they're just, and whoever sets their car up the best probably gets through those bumps really well. And what Tony kept hitting on was, like I had said here at the beginning, I said, if you wanted to go fast, you had to go up near the wall. And you had to go through the bumps to do it. And Aaron Reitzel, who won the first duel, he nailed it. Every single time he got through the bumps and he nailed it.
And talked about it.
And he
Yeah,
did.
he
And
actually was going up around it and made it work.
Trying
That
to
was,
do anything.
That was crazy.
But the whole the process that I go about it is if they really wanted to fix it and they wanted to go in and tear it up, it wouldn't have taken 2 hours. It wouldn't have taken an hour. It wouldn't have taken 15 minutes. I think it would have taken half a day, almost a day. Like, I think they would have had to rework and redo the whole track, or at least that part. And they just don't have time. I mean, this is the biggest week of the year besides the World 100 for Eldora. They don't have that time. And I think, in a way, they had to maybe go out and say, listen, man, it's there. I mean, we really can't do anything about it. Maybe the drivers were told in the driver's meeting or something, hey, this is going to be here. I mean,
Do you recall? I don't think it was that bad when the All-Stars were there just a few weeks ago, was it?
I don't
No,
remember
it wasn't
being
near
that
as bad.
No.
That's
And
what I
you
thought.
said it, Josh. Ohio got a lot of rain. I mean, it was almost the perfect storm, unfortunately, that it worked out in that way. But it was so dangerous, and it just didn't help. We'll talk about it. Everybody just kept wrecking, and everyone kept saying, man, fix the track, fix the track. I don't think they could. I really
It's not
don't.
that easy.
And it's like we said, we don't have the answer. I'm going to speak for all three of us. We're not saying we have the answer because we don't. And I'm sure Tony Stewart and all of them went to bed at night and they couldn't feel great. I mean, their drivers are being taken to the hospital out of their track like every single night. And you're the talk of tension for everything. Something will be different because sprint cars go back in September or something. They go back later. The World 100 shows up first. The the bumps don't matter to late models, but something will be different. And unfortunately, it's a week where we live and learn. But I am of the opinion I don't think they could fix it, and I think we were just along for the ride, as was everybody that went up into the catch fence and was wrecked this week. And it's unfortunate. It is an unfortunate situation, but Eldora got way too much shit over all of it, and I don't know. And what they didn't was, you mentioned it, and I think you said it, Kade. One helicopter went out, one helicopter came in. They were ready no matter what, and it's just part of it. I mean, they have a medical facility in the infield. I mean, they are prepared for all this. It's
a world-class facility, and
it's
hosting events like that, it should be also. It should have that. Now, I think our comments will probably change if they go back there later in the year and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Then I think we have another discussion because of what you just said, Blake, that it has to be better.
A lot of people in the process was they got to fix it. I can't remember who it was. A bigger name said, nobody's forcing these guys to race. You could have packed up and gone home. I mean, if you really hated it that much and you thought your life was in danger, you could have packed up and went home. But nobody did. They still showed up. They know racing's dangerous. Kade, you get in a car every night, and unfortunately, if you take off, you might not come back. And that's just the life of it. But it stinks. It really stinks. We saw the worst of sprint car racing this week, and it sucked. And that's about as bad as it gets, besides death. And it's just unfortunate. But I don't know. I think Eldora got way too much stuff about the whole thing. I still think the whole event was good. I thought the formats were good. It's just the track surface was very dangerous, and that's just kind of what happens. And it hurt all of us to see these guys get hurt. Nobody wants that. And it was just constant. But
and to touch on kind of what I said about with Brady Bacon, because we're going to get to it. Justin Peck took a scary ride, one of the many that we saw, and his girlfriend was posting on
Alex,
one of the social media. Alex, talking about just some of the stuff that you see people. And it's easy to have burner accounts and nameless, faceless accounts, talking stupid shit about people. Just have to remember that there's people's, brothers, sisters, husbands, boyfriends, friends, like hell, even when Kade crashed last week, like it's not cool seeing that. It's not fun watching your friend crash. So just be a little sensitive to people, even if it's online, you may not know them. It was a scary week for sure.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head right there, saying that it's too easy to make accounts that don't hold you accountable.
Yeah,
it's just, that's the bad part about social media. There's so many good things about it, and you can do a lot of really cool things with it. But when it comes to things like that, people are just shitty about it.
Yep.
In duel number 1, Aaron Reitzel goes from 6th to 1st and scores the win in the first duel. Awesome to see him celebrating with his kids up on the car. That was really cool. Aaron's so fast, man. We'll talk about it. I hope he gets better quick. Man, they're on a rocket, and even when he crashed, he was top 5. I mean, he was going to be there. So really stinks to see, but a good win for him. Corey Day starts on the pole, leads all 25 laps. He says he's not a half-mile guy, but by golly, he's making half miles out of himself. He's fast, man. I mean, he's going to be there for the Knoxville Nationals. Good for Corey Day. The big story of the night, besides the bumps, David Gravel finishes in either 3rd or 4th. 3rd, it'd be 3rd. So he finishes and rounds out the podium in one of the races, the second race or whatever, and he gets DQ'd. His nose wing was too far forward by 3/4 of an inch. And Mike Hess had an interview afterwards with Flow Racing, and I grabbed a couple quotes from it. Mike says, first of all, he didn't think it was anything intentional. I don't think it was anything intentional. I don't know how other series measure it, so that's why I got out the plumb bob to do it, and it dead set as it was on the track. I just think it was an oversight. A half inch honestly doesn't do anything in the front wing, but per the rule book, it's too far forward, so we have to uphold the rules. That's where my hands were tied. I could have given them a little leeway that it's not dead on, but over half an inch, I didn't have a choice.
And he didn't look thrilled. It wasn't like he was gleefully saying that.
And
No.
Flo, I give Flo so much credit for this. They showed the tech process. Like, you could see the plumb bob, you could see everything else. Hess was pulling on it. I mean, he's yanking that front wing, trying to see, does it move? Cody Jacobs at one point's like, well, it might have moved over there. And he's like, it did. I mean, like, it's just not, they did everything. I think Mike Hess truly did not want to DQ David Gravel, but he had to. It's the rule book. I mean, and Kade, do you think it made much speed difference?
Hess
said it doesn't, but you think it might have?
I think Hess was trying to give him more of a
Benefit?
benefit of the doubt than anything there. I've never had one that's 3/4 of an inch too far forward, but I'd imagine, especially at Eldora, a big half mile, it would probably make quite a bit of difference.
And
There's a
before
lot
you-
of politics into it
Oh,
as
for
well.
sure.
And,
Oh, easily.
you know, especially with that team, like we got to call a spade a spade. You know, Cody Jacobs, he's a great conversation. He's a fun dude to talk to, but he has not hidden his disdain for the High Limit Series. And I don't think that there's any nefarious stuff going on. First and foremost, period, end of story. The rule is the rule. It's black and white. They have a template, and like you said there in the quote, they got a plumb bob out as well. It failed 2 different measurements. You get disqualified for that. That is what
Period.
it is.
End of story.
I don't think that all of the trash talking that goes on makes any of that any better, but I don't think it had anything to do with the decision to disqualify him. And then in the polarized world of Outlaws versus High Limit, you know, fans are gonna go with their allegiance there, and we saw it later in the week with David and Kyle as well.
It stinks. It really stinks. It doesn't help David's point that they have been so dang fast this year, and then that happens, and everyone's like, "Oh," but it's just unfortunate. He said it. Mike Hess said it. It's an oversight. He truly thinks it was an oversight, and Mike just kept trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out, and it was a DQ. And you
got to stick with that stuff if you're a series, and if you want to be a legitimate series, you have to not be scared to disqualify the World of Outlaws points leader. You know,
it was already a somewhat tough look about the watch, Kade. I mean, with Rico, that's in the rule book, and they didn't enforce it.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, they felt like they had to do it. It just so happened to be an outlaw that they DQ'd. So we went to bed with that. That was at like 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning. No, it would have been at like, I think
it was really
came out
late.
at 2 in the morning. And then we wake up in the morning and Giovanni Scelzi tweets out that he has parted ways with KCP Racing and he wished them the best. He said there was no ill feelings and he doesn't know what his next steps are. This was a bombshell, an absolute bombshell. Didn't help that he wrecked the night before. I think too many people drew way too many conclusions. But we just talked with Gio a couple weeks ago. Seemed very happy with the situation. Obviously, they hadn't had a great year, but they've been figuring it out. Wade did a great interview with him literally last week at the shop, and he seemed happy. Yeah. He lives in Grimes, and apparently he just parted ways. He took his T-shirt trailer and apparently came back here to Grimes, and he's going to think about his next steps. But, man, guys, this is tough. This is really tough to see. KCP didn't put a car out the next 2 nights, so they lost a lot of points in the Outlaws. The thought process is they'll find it.
It is no points. I think
that is no point.
I guess it is show up points maybe. Yeah, so I don't actually know how that works. So I have to look into that.
But what a bombshell! I didn't see this coming.
I definitely did not see it coming. And you know, Jeremy Elliott from SprintCarUnlimited.com got I think an exclusive with Gio, and I read through that. It was a good interview, and he basically did just say he wasn't having any fun anymore, and Gio did, and brought up a good point as well that. You know, you see a lot of these teams, about the 3-year mark is when things seem to kind of go haywire and guys part ways, you know, whether it's mutually or not. And yeah, Blake, this has been a team that's been together for 5 years. They've only had 2 drivers. So, you know, all things come to an end at some point, and it was definitely a shocker. I did not see it coming. Crazy timing.
There's nothing else about it. I think the timing is what really did it.
And ironically brought back some memories of Anthony Macri, splitting with his own team, a few years ago, which that's crazy how that's come full circle. It'll be interesting. You know, I have some ideas, thoughts where he might be going, but it'll be really
theories of who's going to be in the car.
Really interesting who will fill that seat, because that's a top-notch ride, and Gio's shown that it's really good equipment, and it'll be interesting to see who they put in that.
Yeah, nobody had Gio leaving the 18 on their bingo card for the weekend.
Of all the possible silly season things to happen, nobody had it.
And they're lying to you if they say that they did.
Yeah.
It is crazy. We hope Gio's doing well. I mean, obviously, mentally, it can't be easy on him.
He did say his wrist was banged up as well from that crash. So, I mean, it kind of goes without being said that, we hope he's he's healthy and can get rested up because we've got a big month coming.
The thought process is that I believe we will see him for nationals in something, but past that, I don't really know. It might just be one of those things you kind of take some time off and just let it roll and let you think. And we wish the best for Giovanni Silsey going forward. We wish the best for KCP as they go to BAPS. There's no way they sit out this Pennsylvania swing, so somebody's going to be in the car. So we'll just
you'd expect news. There might be news out, but by the time this is released on Monday as well.
Might be news right now. I don't have Twitter open, but you never know. I mean, it just feels like it could happen that quick. So make sure to stay tuned. Kade's going to check.
No, I'm not.
Kade was checking.
I'm
not. But yeah, just crazy stuff. This would be for the Joker's jackpot on Wednesday night. I got to keep up, man. My brain's everywhere. So
I know.
This is on Thursday night. Thursday night was the Joker's jackpot. Or no?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Yeah,
that's right.
Thursday night was the Joker's jackpot. Kyle Larson gets past Rico Abreu late and wins the Joker's jackpot. Anthony Macri finished second. Great run for him. We should have
on FS1.
Yeah, it was on Fox Sports 1. What'd y'all think of it? I thought it was just like a FS1 or a Flow Racing broadcast.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Apparently,
which is a good thing.
Apparently, people in the crowd noticed like a couple more commercial breaks, but that's just TV. They averaged 239,000 viewers, at least on Fox Sports 1. I'm curious to see the Flow Racing numbers because I bet close to maybe 500,000 people maybe watched. What a cool thing. Cool for Chase Rodman. Cool for Blake Anderson. Cool for Tony Laporta. Cool for that entire crew. I think they nailed it.
I tweeted that. I mean, that grouping was great. You almost wish that you had that every night because it's great having Blake back on the mic. I'm a little partial Newton. That's a fellow Newton Cardinal right there. But they did a great job. I love what TLP does in the infield. They just gel so well. And, it's no shot at what the Outlaws do. I think that what Tony or what Johnny and Connor do themselves as well is really good. But it's a little bit of a more fresh feel to it. And like I said, I think it was a good thing that it felt like a Flow broadcast. FS1, they had a 2-hour TV window. They let us blow right through that. We even got a full post race podium interview as well. And
they said screw that soccer match on afterwards. I don't know who was playing, but they didn't get to watch. They watched some sprint cars. That's what they were.
America. We're watching racing, baby. Unfortunately, there was more bad carnage, which sucks. And hopefully, that's not why people are tuning in to see crashes like that, which that it happens sometimes with NASCAR. But I think that High Limit, the entire staff, everybody did a great job presenting sprint car racing in the best way that they could. And I hope that this is not the last time, or at least we don't have to wait 5 more years before we get it back on live TV.
Knoxville Nationals, please.
Please.
Kade, any thoughts? Were you still working on your car?
I actually was. Yeah, we worked on that thing till.
Nice to be able to turn TV on and be able to, instead of Flow.
Well, it's on the same TV I watched the other races on anyway. Yeah, I thought it was cool. Like you said, great pairing there with Blake coming back, and super cool to see him back on a national touring series. I noticed how big of a mouthful that was when they were trying to talk to Cole Macedo about his first national touring series. Yeah, it's a mouthful. But yeah, good to see Blake back, and Chase and TLP killed it too.
Unfortunately, the race was just carnage, and the bumps played more factor. Buddy Kofoid goes into turn 1, and I think it just gets off out of the way, or it just sets off a really nasty wreck. Tyler Courtney, Bill Baylog, Hunter Schoenberg, Brad Sweet, and Brady Bacon all get involved. Tyler Courtney gets pushed cage first into the catch fence and into the concrete wall. Very scary. Probably the scariest. Well, no, I don't know. They were all scary. I just what was really scary, and I cannot believe they showed it on Flow, was they showed the top cage of Tyler Courtney being hauled off, and it was punctured bad, like really pushed in. You could see the rock screen just mangled. Bad, really bad. Took a terrible hit. Tyler Courtney was later transported to the hospital, airlifted to the hospital, and he had surgery. It hasn't been specified what the surgery was for, but had surgery, and the thought process is he will be out a significant amount of time. God, it gives me chills thinking about it. It was just a really bad wreck. there's no other way to put it. You just kind of hold your breath when he goes up against, especially a concrete wall like that, and he's being pushed in by 2 other cars. And for Tyler, he was hurt 2 years ago in this race and did the same thing. He had to miss the Nationals, and unfortunately it happened again. We're so lucky that he's alive because, Josh, we'll talk about another Rex, but 10 years ago, these guys might not have lived, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too, Blake. The safety.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this? It was just,
yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off. I was just going to say that the safety of the cars, I think all week we saw how there have been safety advances. It just is not always, apparent or evident just from looking at them, because if you do look at the pictures, and we're not going to share them or anything, but like it was terrifying to see that happen. And I think that Flo did a very tasteful job of the way that they presented that, because nobody wants to see the tight shots of everything that's going on. But it's also not, it's fair to the fans at home or friends or family that might be watching to have somewhat of an idea of what's going on at the racetrack, instead of just sitting there wondering because you're, have a static camera looking at the crowd or something. But very, very thankful that Tyler was awake and alert. Asia, his fiance, has posted about, pictures of him watching the races the next day, which was
in his hospital bed.
It's a true racer right there. Can't get enough of it. There was also an awesome picture where fans early in the morning the next day were lined up at his merch trailer. Sometimes, like Justin Fiedler says, you really hate sprint car racing because of what it does to people. But that was cool how fans had kind of rallied around him and everybody that did the same thing for Caleb. It sounds like I saw Aaron's link was going around. He used
his interview to say go buy merch.
Yeah, that great.
Which just hurt your heart even more that Aaron was caught up in a bad wreck.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I
know Kade, I know it's not the most fun thing to talk about, Kade. Yeah. So, and unfortunately, we got more after this, and it's not fun for anybody.
Yeah, like you said, though, it was good that Flo went about it the way they did. I definitely don't disagree with them showing Courtney's car, because it definitely turns people's attention to what actually can happen to a race car when that kind of stuff happens. And we all hate to see it, but it's part of it. And that was kind of something that I feel like people that don't watch it all the time needed to see, just to kind of understand
these things
how serious this shit is too.
And it curbs the conspiracy BS that you see also, or just like reckless speculation. Yeah. So like when you can actually see the stuff, and like I said, and we all agree that there's a tasteful way of doing it, and not just glorifying somebody that was just seriously hurt.
And we watch sprint car racing a lot. It takes a lot to bend the top of that cage. I mean, that thing is strong. So we knew right when we saw it. For anybody that didn't watch, they'd be like, "Oh, it dropped." But like right when I got like 2 texts right when they showed it. They're like, "Oh, did you see the cage?" And it's more of a testament to also showing it, Kade, that he lived. I mean, yes, it bent and it broke, but it didn't kill him, and he stayed with us. And I think that's a testament to the safety that has continued to be worked on with these cars, whether that be fire bottles to protect from fire or anything else, the cage. It's a testament to why Tyler Courtney's still here with us, but a very nasty wreck. We wish him the best in his recovery going forward. And the other guys also had really bad wrecks. I mean, Buddy Kofoid seemed shaken up afterwards. Bill Baylog had a week to forget. They just couldn't keep out of anything. Hunter Schoenberg, Brad Sweet in his first two big wrecks, and then Brady Bacon. Later in the feature, Tanner Holmes took his own ride, kind of just trying to get aggressive up against the wall. Logan Schuhart flipped bad at the end of the feature. Again, both those guys just tagged the wall. It was rough. It was a rough race. 9 cars finished the Joker's jackpot.
But you never see that in sprint car racing.
No,
I've never seen that. And there wasn't any provisionals either. I think it was just 24 cars straight up and only 9.
And David Gravel, he lost a right rear or something. I actually missed that part.
Flipped in the B main. He something broke and he went forward, and I haven't seen the Houston's car flipping forever.
They blew a tire getting into one.
Yeah, and he was in the transfer spot. He was going to make it up. I think he would have probably had a chance to win the whole thing if he got back through. A motivated David Gravel, and he took a tough ride, unfortunately, in turn 1. But, just a very tough Joker's jackpot. But congratulations to Kyle Larson, his first win there since 2021 at Eldora. The drama continued as we ran into Friday nights of the night before. I said it on Twitter, man. What a dang name for the race. The night before
It's
is an
great.
awesome name. Somebody said Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks and the night before are probably the two best names in sprint car racing for events. The night was kind of interesting to start off. Parker Price Miller had a phenomenal hot rod underneath him. Bernie and the whole Indy Race Parts team, the green looked a little bit different. I think they changed up a little bit of a neon green. And he jumped the start. He started in 4th, and he jumps the start. And I'm going to come out and say it. I love the Outlaws. I love High Limit. I don't hate anybody. I don't think he jumped the start. I think David Gravel was just snoozing a little bit, and Parker just made an advantage, and they called the caution and docked it.
You hear in the drivers' meeting, Kade, what do they say about starts? And maybe this isn't said everywhere, but it's definitely said at Knoxville. You're supposed to be what? Nose to tail, side by side, and nose to tail. There was about 4 car widths between the pole sitter and Gravel on the top. I mean, come on. PPM got the shittiest end of that whole deal. Yeah. we're going long, and this has been a heavy freaking episode as it is. But I feel really bad for Parker because he got shafted.
The thing is, too, like racing with a guy like that that's starting on your outside, he knows. I hate to even get into this, but the person I think of is T-Mac. T-Mac does this shit to everybody, and he's the freaking king at it. But he will make it look like you jumped the start, and you'll get docked. And then he's good at playing mind games like that, and I feel like that might have been part of what was going on there.
Yeah. Wild, unfortunately, hurt PPM's night. He just really didn't have the start that he wanted to. He was going to probably take the lead if that restart stayed, but Casey Kane takes a rough ride over the bumps. Same thing, just got over it and take a very nasty ride. That one I was really scared for because Casey has taken rough hits. I mean, Volusia a couple of years ago kicked him out of the car for almost half a year. He's had rough rides in NASCAR or whatnot, but he seemed to be okay. He was in good spirits. I think he got the better end of the guys that wrecked in turn 1 this week. Aaron Reitzel was up to 2nd, looked like he was going to do it again, and the same thing. It looked just like Casey Kane's crash, except Aaron goes into the fence, catches the light, so that stops him, comes back down the track, and when you're in 2nd, there's a whole bunch of cars behind you waiting to get to you, and Zach Hampton is on the brakes trying to stop. He hits Aaron, and then Steven Snyder Jr. is coming back, and even faster, just drills Aaron, and Aaron's kind of on his side, so he catches the bottom of the car and he just slams Aaron down the track. And luckily Aaron landed on his front, like all 4s, and you could see him moving, and then he hops out of the car and he jumps down, but then he goes down in a lot of pain. Like you can just tell he is hurting bad. And he was taken into the ambulance. It was kind of weird. They didn't put him flat on the gurney. He was kind of sitting up. So you could tell, like, I think obviously we learned he fractured his foot. So the upper part of his body seemed to be fine. He was probably sore. But Kade, I think you said the pan or the bottom of the car came up through the car, or the bottom came apart, and that's what fractured his foot.
Yeah, when you get hit in the bottom damn near wide open, it's just aluminum down there. And
yeah.
I mean, I don't think Aaron runs a steel floor pan. He's probably trying to save as much weight on that car as he can. But yeah, when you get hit damn near wide open, that whatever car hits you is just going to go right through that. And from the sounds of it, that's exactly what happened. And honestly, Aaron's really lucky that wasn't worse.
Yes.
Obviously, it was still bad enough the way it was, and we hope he gets better as well. But damn, that could have been terrible.
Dude, it's all of them were bad. And like anytime somebody is stopped and gets hit, like that is the thing that scares me the most, it seems like. Tyler's deal and Aaron's like,
and Brad's.
No, and Brad's as well.
Probably, honestly, Brad's might have been the worst out of all the ones getting hit, and we'll talk about it.
I have another short tangent because I know we got more to talk about. I really feel bad for Zach Hampton. The keyboard warriors were out for him again and just talking shit about that. You could see it on his face when they talked to him, and he posted about it as well. The last thing he wants to do, in his own words, is hit somebody that he respects and admires on the racetrack as much as Aaron Reitzel. It goes back to what we've already said. You know, you don't wish that on even your worst enemy on track. And thank God he was okay, and thank God that Steven Snyder was okay too, because those were freaking massive hits.
And I give credit to Zach Hampton. He's usually a pretty lighthearted guy on social media, and it made me laugh. He won like the lucky break of the race for the Outlaws, and he quote tweeted, he's like, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah, that was a little levity for a very heavy week.
Yes. I was like, okay, he can be happy about it. We didn't really hear from Reitzel. I mean, it was he went off in the ambulance, and they really didn't say much else. We had later learned the next morning on RSR's social medias that he fractured his foot, but we know Aaron Reitzel. I don't think he's going to be out of the car very long. He knows that there is a points battle to go for. And unfortunately, his competition is very beat up right now. So we'll see how that all plays out. We'll talk about the rest of that there in a second. But I don't think you're going to see him out of the car for a very long, if any. He's got a week here until High Limit goes back this weekend. So we'll see what happens. I see they got home last night. I think Shelby Reitzel tweeted about that. So really cool. Really cool.
Wish him a speedy recovery as well.
Yeah, we wish Aaron the best. Just a brutal hit. Rico Abreu leads every single lap. Carson Macedo finishes second. Kyle Larson and David Gravel throw the slider fest. Boy, that was really rough word. Oh my gosh, I can't talk.
We've been talking for a while, Blake. I get it, man.
I saw y'all laughing. I'm like, oh gosh.
That was a mouthful.
Abreu wins. Cool to see that. That car's still not growing on me, man. It's a fine scheme, but it just hasn't grown on me. It's cool though. The East Texas Hot Rod. That's a great name for a sprint car. But he
Rico marketing something very well. Shocker.
Oh, I'd never seen that before. His diecast sold out in 2 minutes. That's how fast that diecast sold out, and he made a good chunk of money from it. But the drama was not done. We had Kyle Larson and David Gravel, best buddies, throwing sliders, and Kyle Larson had a crazy slide. They did not touch throwing sliders. Kyle Larson throws an insane slider on the final corner and gets David Gravel to get on the podium. And then after the start-finish line, they're kind of taking slides at each other, kind of sliding. And then coming off of turn 2, I'm going to go with what Mike Hess says because I think Mike Hess had a good reason about this when he tweeted about it. Gravel turned Larson just as much as Larson turned down. And I don't think Gravel meant to turn him. That's just my opinion. And then Larson spun backwards, and then David Gravel comes around, and he parks right next to him. And they have a nice conversation. On the back straightaway. And then after that, they are taken down into the infield. David is off on the side. There is a whole crowd. There look like so many dang people down there waiting for something to happen. I can tell you right now.
Our buddy Jared Buckaloo from Ascent Media, he was right there and the camera was rolling. Attaboy, Jared.
I can tell you right now, Larson isn't going to fight anyone. Larson doesn't fight anyone. A couple of years ago, Bubba Wallace tried to fight him on the front stretch of Las Vegas, and Larson's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm not going to fight you." And then the Outlaws said, "All right, you two are going to the tech trailer or the trailer to go
on a timeout."
So they went and had a chat, and then they come out, and Larson's all happy-go-lucky. He's like, "Yeah, man, that's racing. We were throwing sliders." Whoever interviewed him didn't really ask hard-hitting questions, like kind of avoided it. And then David Gravel was not happy. He says, basically, we're friends, but not right now. And basically he said that he doesn't do this full time. So why is he racing like this? And it is it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And boy, it was good for the sport. Do I dare say it?
It was spicy.
I'm confused.
For sure.
I'm confused how Kyle Larson doesn't drive race cars for a living. That's the only thing that I'm going to say about it is I'm confused how Larson isn't considered a full-time race car driver.
Was it you, Josh, or someone else said when Kyle Larson files his taxes at the end of the year, it says it says race car driver or full-time.
It doesn't discriminate on what he's driving.
And guess what? Paul Silva and that whole team, they're full-time. I mean, I can tell you that right now. David Gravel was mad in the moment, and I think maybe would take back some of the things he said, but boy, they were not happy. Well, Gravel was happy.
If I dare say, it reeks of somebody that's a little tired of getting beaten by the 57 and took a little issue with it. I mean, my only opinion, I've kind of formed it here while we were talking. I almost think that whether or not he meant to turn him, you send a message that you don't touch other cars with your car on the track. After all the shit that we saw with guys getting hurt because of crashes, I almost wish that we would have seen a penalty just because we don't need that shit. You see it. Look at what we've seen the last few weeks, a month in the late models. You had guys driving backwards under green in a late model race here recently.
That's crazy at Farmer City. If you've never seen that,
that shit,
if you haven't seen that video, that's insane.
Unbelievable. Like, I think that you need that completely out of the sport. And anybody that does that kind of shit shouldn't drive a race car again. But I digress there. I do. I don't like contact after the checkers, and I think that is a good time to send a message. That's your point leader, defending champion. If you're gravel, whether you meant to or not, you shouldn't have been that close. And with the drama with the 2, I think it's as simple as gravel's gotten beat quite a bit by the 57 lately, and that's boiled over.
And I think Larson he knew what strings to pluck and how to get gravel going, because gravel,
you can see it on his face, man. Like, you kind of know what I'm saying.
Gravel has 1 championship with the World of Outlaws, and if it wasn't for High Limit, would David Gravel have that championship? Maybe not.
I think you would, actually. I know people say no, but I think you would.
That's a conversation for another day. But it is just the fact of the matter that, it's people already just haven't been on Gravel's side because he's been winning a lot, and he knows it, and he is not arrogant about it, but man, he knows he's good, and he'll put that out to everyone.
And he has every right to be confident in that too, because they are having a hell of a season.
Gravel has raced people very aggressively. Kyle Larson, Justin Fiedler said this is Kyle Larson. Like, he will race everyone like this. It's just Kyle Larson, and that's what makes him so fun to watch. And
Amen.
I think Justin even said it. He's like, kind of surprised nobody even tried to do this to Larson beforehand. So I guess credit to Gravel for standing up and saying, listen, man, I'm not doing this. But some of Gravel's comments afterwards, it's like, okay, buddy, like, let's not go that far. And he didn't get penalized, which has been a very hot topic. We had AI-generated World of Outlaws rule books going around on social media. Now, there's got to be somewhere in the rule book, though, that you can't turn somebody after the race. But I don't know if penalties are completely off the board. I'm not really sure. Will they penalize Gravel? Maybe. Probably not.
Probably not.
You never know, because there's some of that stuff happens without being announced. Sometimes there's fines handed out, what have you. But they did announce the penalty to, who was it, Carey and Jason Myers at Husett. So you never know. It could be, and that was a few days after that event was over. Like I said, I don't like when people are using their cars against guys on the track, and I just don't want to see that from anybody.
Well, and then Gravel brings up the whole, they have a vendetta against my crew chief and blah, blah, blah. It's like,
who cares? I don't care.
Like, I don't know. It was I don't think Gravel came out of it any better. I don't know. It just was not a great look for David Gravel. And then he comes on the stage on Saturday night and he's like welcoming the booze after being so not defensive, but I don't know. I like David Gravel. It's just I feel like it could have been handled just a little bit differently. And Larson's Kyle Larson. I think he loved it. His tweet was phenomenal. He's like, we're just shaping out his 2027 high limit contract. That's what he was working on. But
we need these rivalries, though. Damn it, I love that part of it.
Especially between Kyle Larson and David Gravel. They couldn't have been two better guys.
Because both series are doing very well right now, and having that back and forth is fun. Just like I said, don't do it on the track. Like, I love everything else about it. Keep it going, boys.
Kade, any final thoughts on the rivalry that we saw brewing? Also worth noting, Larson.
You guys said everything.
Larson still beat him on Saturday, and everybody made Gravel hear about it. And it's like, oh my gosh, every post that Gravel put out is like, well, who beat you? Now, I will say, I don't think David Gravel clearly doesn't run all of his social media. I mean, maybe he does. I know he has a guy that does it, but like Gravel's over here saying all this stuff in the post race, and then his social media, personal social media, tweets out, "What a slider fest!" And I'm like, well, clearly that's not what you just thought happened. So I think maybe they got to get on the same page because someone's like, "There's no way this is David Gravel."
Yeah,
that's funny.
There's other thoughts. We'll talk about it after the show, but there's so much crazy stuff after it. That leads us into the Kings Royal, and we still have a couple more bullet points. So let's keep going. Rain delayed the start of the event. They got lucky. The big rainstorm blew through, and they started, I think, at 6 o'clock. And then, unfortunately, one of the very first laps we saw in heat race action, Brad Sweet hits the bumps and flips, and it comes to a stop and is drilled by Cale Thomas, who is trying to slow down but just can't get it stopped. And what was really scary was Brad was facing driver's side. Cale hits him driver's side. And there's a really good video by Flow Racing. Good video. It's an intense video, like shows the strong impacts of the hit. And when Brad lands, you can tell he just kind of breathes and just knows he took a very tough hit. And he was taken out in an ambulance and taken to the hospital. And somehow, in a good way, by the miracle of God, he is fine. His scans came back clean, and he was discharged this morning. He said on social media, on his Instagram story, he is sore and very beat up. I think it's a miracle. I cannot believe he was okay, because I thought for sure either a broken back or something went wrong, because, man, he took a hit.
Yeah, that was huge. And like you said, that Flow video, we were talking about it the other night in the group chat. I'm not huge on videos of crashes like that, but obviously they had to have known that Brad was okay and not too seriously injured. Otherwise, I feel like they wouldn't have posted that video. But that video is very
telling.
Yeah, it shows exactly what happened, and that's another one of those things that I feel like is honestly good for people that aren't super in tune with the sport to see. And yeah, that gives a really good I guess explanation. I don't have a better word for that, but good explanation of how fast those cars are actually going out of the door, and how fast shit happens.
Intense is the perfect description that you use there, Blake, because, oh my God, that is such a hard hit. I didn't see it until I got home, because just everything that was going on, and then some weather in Knoxville. But damn it, that was so hard. And I'm very, very glad to see Brad was able to walk away from that relatively unscathed. And I know this is a really long episode already. This is probably going to set a record for how long we go.
I honestly, I'm not
safety
speaking for anybody, but I hope people listen all the way through.
I do too, and because I think we've had some really good conversations about all this stuff, and it's things that need to be talked about. And I think another thing, I saw Kevin Swindell mention shortly after that happened, talking about if we need to start looking at more like side protection for these cars and starting to mandate them. We talk about Aaron with the floor pan. Like, you got freaking aluminum floor pans that aren't going to stop a freaking hammer if you swing it hard enough, let alone a goddamn car coming at you at 100 miles an hour. At what point does the driver containment need to be improved over just...
Are you saying...
like
on
the
enclosed, like you know how Aaron will run like the closed cockpit? Are you saying that?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe more bars, something more solid like on the floor, because you can't make them too rigid, because then, you know, energy is going to the drivers. But just cockpit intrusions, it feels like has been happening more often the last few years, because there was a couple at Knoxville even. You know, Riley Goodnow had one. I can't think of his name right now, out of Pennsylvania. He had one, I think, last year or 2 years ago in a crash at Knoxville. Davey Franick, that was who it was. At some point, do we need to look at driver containment a little bit better, also acknowledging that you have a wing over the top of you, and so you guys have to be able to get out quickly in case of a fire?
Yeah,
because I know, Kade, you said you don't love the halo, you know, the halo bar that goes over the car either, and there's some guys, Ayrton Gennetten is one of them, that has one.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the answer would be, because like you said, you got to be able to get out in a fire. And I know I get this from Aaron, actually, but the more shit you weld in a race car, the worse it works. So I mean, it depends. Like you said,
the car works, you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. The worse the race car works on the racetrack, not
from a handling
the safety.
perspective. Yes.
Yeah. So it's hard to say what the answer is, and I don't know. I feel like either the monkey bars or the chasm system are probably the best money that anybody could spend on safety, and that's definitely the first thing I'm buying this winter when I get done racing, and hopefully don't spend a bunch of money tearing more shit up. But yeah, it's just hard to say. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can really do to enclose that any more than it already is, or beef it up, I guess.
Because you have no space as it is either.
Yeah.
Is the closed off cockpit that like Reitzel runs, is that any safer, or is it really nothing?
it's
Is it aero? Mainly aero.
more aero, more not getting your cockpit as dirty. I mean, it's the one that he runs is carbon fiber, so it's not anything super stout. If a car hits it, it's still going to go through it, and it's just hard. Like I say, I'm not a track prep guy. I'm not a welder either. I'm not a fabricator. I feel like there's probably something we can do to make it a little bit better as far as like cars coming in the cockpit, but I don't know exactly what the answer would be to that.
Well, that was the end of our big wrecks of the week. And good luck keeping track. I mean, it was an unbelievable week of wrecking. Yeah, just really rough. I said it in my recap last night. We saw the worst of sprint car racing at Eldora this past week, and for us at Knoxville, we saw the best on Saturday night and the highs and lows of the sport. And that's, I think, what made Knoxville really fun last night. Was really good. So Donnie Schatz went from 11th to the transfer spot in the B. Don still got it.
Don
got that thing rolling. Good for Donnie Schatz. He ended up finishing 16th. I know it wasn't the week he's looking for. They got to find something here before Nationals because it's just not looking great. Casey Jedrzejek, or as I typed down at 1:30 in the morning, Casey Kedrzejek, apparently. Casey Jedrzejek started on the pole. That's so cool. The Ohio guy starts on the pole. It's kind of like when Austin McCarl sat on the pole of the Nationals a couple of years ago. Anthony Macri got around him on the first lap, and the Concrete Kid turned into the Concrete King. And honestly, I hope that nickname sticks. I would kind of like to see it. That's just always be the Concrete King from now on. I don't know if it will, but the Concrete King, I think, should be always his nickname from now on.
You're a big nickname guy, Blake, so you push that. Push
yeah,
that
maybe if I have a chance. So he's not coming for 3-6 Nationals, but if I happen to call his car, I should do that. I should say the Concrete King, and then Johnny will probably want to kill me. But
I was gonna say you'll probably get roasted.
Johnny will be like, "What?
Do you even know this guy?"
So cool, man. One of the cooler crown jewel winners we've seen in a while. And he was emotional in Victory Lane, and he was so fired up. I said it on social media. In a week of PA, or in a week of outlaw and high limit drama, a PA guy wins. I mean, that's
was crowned by Don Kreitz Jr., a PA guy as well. That was really
cool. He had him smothered and covered pretty much. I mean, he was just so fast. He ripped the top all night. He had a bent Jacob's ladder that they figured out during the open red, and they couldn't do anything about it. So they're like, well, good luck. And he hit the wall a couple times, but he kept her on all fours and picks up his biggest win of his career. And put some respect on Anthony Macri's name, because many people have said, you put this guy on a tour, he's going to compete for a championship. And I kind of hope he doesn't. I like when he just keeps jumping around. He's a true outlaw. He's a PA guy, but he's a true outlaw. He'll come out here. He probably will make a West Coast swing eventually, maybe sometime, but it couldn't have been a better night. And Anthony Macri is a King's Royal winner.
I definitely did not have that one on my bingo card either.
Did not either.
Yeah, super cool to see him get that win. And like you said, he was pretty emotional in Victory Lane and pretty wound up, which you don't see out of him at all, ever.
No.
Which is cool. Like I mentioned earlier, full circle moment for him. Like they were at probably the lowest of lows, and
2 years ago to this week.
Yeah,
2 years ago to this week, he was out of the car.
So that has to feel so good. And he even talked about kind of the mental struggles that go through, and don't hear probably about as much of that stuff as what's going on with a lot of guys. So whenever you can see guys that go through the trials and tribulations and get back out on top, put some respect on that royalty name now. The Concrete King. I like that. We got to keep that thing around.
Anthony, on this podcast from here on out,
you are our Concrete King.
Concrete King. Let it be known. That's why King Kinzer got his name, so why can't we do Concrete King? I don't know. Rico Abreu finished his second, and Kyle Larson rounded out the podium. Rico Abreu, he was more happy than Anthony than anyone. I mean, they were like, what was the heartbreak? And he's like, there's no heartbreak. He's like, look who's in Victory Lane. Rico had a good week, and Larson had a good week. We read them off when we did our picks. Those two easily are the favorites for Nationals. I don't know how you'd even pick between the two of them, but I think they're the 1-2, and Gravel is third. And then Corey Day's probably fourth. But it's just those two are on another level right now. Ricky Warner and Paul Silva, they have got those things tuned up. And great week for those two. And congratulations to Anthony Macri. 42nd King, I believe. I believe.
I think so.
No idea.
Don't hold me to it. I don't know.
I mean, 42nd, 43rd king. But
If you want to go with it, we'll do it, Blake. He's 42 for
let's
us.
roll with it. Yeah, congratulations to Anthony Macker, man. That's awesome. And then
We could probably jump ahead. We've.
what do you
we could
mean?
probably-
What?
What are you talking about? I thought you were going to move to the next topic that I had put down.
Yeah,
there.
I was just going to throw it out. So,
okay.
Nick Hoffman tweeted out something about crown jewel races.
Him and Gordy
and
both were kind of going.
How
at it.
long races should be. Gordy Gundaker jumped on board. What really got things going was John Gibson jumped on board. John doesn't quote tweet things a lot. He doesn't reply a lot. But, man, when he does, good luck. John Gibson basically comes out and says no sprint car race should be more than 30 laps, 25 to 30 laps. That's bold. That's quite bold, in my opinion. And Gordy Gundaker going back. Ironically, it was a lot of the late model guys. I'm not really sure what that was all about.
Funny how that
But,
works.
The comments below it were just, they were so, I think it was 50-50. I mean, 75 or, 60-40. You had the people that been like, okay, so the Ironman shouldn't be 55 laps, or some people, Josh and Kade, I don't know why I just said that. Josh and Kade, you should probably, some people were saying sometimes the track don't come in till such and such. And some people were saying that last night about Eldora. But quite the statement by the voice of the World of Outlaws to say that no crown jewel race should be 30 laps at the most.
That is a bold move.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we've talked about it, and honestly, like, yeah, I say like 30 to 40, depending on the racetrack. Obviously, I don't know. The fuel stop kind of makes it interesting. If you do it just a fuel stop, you kind of have the tire cool down, like what I was talking about earlier. Your tires can seal up once they cool back down, and it just adds another element. But obviously, if you have a 30-lap race at Knoxville and you go green to checkered, that's going to be, people are going to be pissed about that because there wasn't a stop or this and that and the other thing. It's no matter what, not everybody's going to be happy, I should say.
I have the hot take that these are called sprint cars, so it shouldn't be a 75-lap race like some of those late model fender guys were talking about.
That's a fact.
Yeah, we don't
People
do
brought
that.
up the 70s. They were like, well, they were running 80-lap features in the 70s.
Yeah, and they didn't have wings probably, in some of those races too. Like, so there's that. I'm a little sarcastic, but I believe that too. These are sprint cars. We're not here to see a 500-mile race like you have in NASCAR or the 100-lappers that you see with the late models. I agree with you though, Kade. Like, and we've talked about this with the Nationals also. Like, I just wish I don't like being able to touch your car. Like, if you can just fuel up, and of course there are things that go into that. You have to have officials to be able to make sure that no shenanigans are going on. I don't like if you can not change your tire and like maybe not make any adjustments on your car and it's strictly a fuel stop. That's a whole different ball game than having a complete open red where you can change your shocks, change shit. Some guys have changed gears, change your tires and all that.
A lot of them do change gears. I'm like, what the hell?
So if you notice this week on the open reds, Larson won the Joker's jackpot. We had an open red halfway through. Larson was not your leader. Larson also charged like a maniac after the open red last night or Saturday night. Paul Silva is one of the best, if not the best in the country when it comes to open reds. So when open red happens, Paul Silva is grinning. I mean, he's like, this is perfect.
Huge benefit.
And I think that's the biggest part. I like what you're saying, Josh, about not touching the car. Just put fuel in it. I've always been a fan of the 50 laps for the Knoxville Nationals. Obviously, they did that because of the 50th anniversary, and then it just kind of stuck. I don't know. Will it change in the next couple of years? Maybe. If it does, I'd be fine with 40. 40 laps.
I agree.
And maybe, I know we talk about the fuel tanks, but maybe put a bigger fuel tank on it, or I don't know. But it was.
There was another good point that I did see in the comments too. Like some people also talk about, well, your big crown jewel events, which that's a whole other thing. I think the crown jewel term is starting to get thrown around a little bit too much for
some events.
110%.
Yeah, some events that maybe haven't earned that kind of terminology, if you will, if we're going to get real technical.
That'll
about
be our
things
big
here.
question of the week. What is your? What are the crown jewels?
Yeah, comments. We can engagement here. Throw in the comments what you guys do consider a true crown jewel. That's not in question for this week. I don't think the King's Royal. Not saying that by any means. but when you have, similar length races for these quote unquote crown jewels versus when you're running a 25 lap feature as is, it's an interesting point. I'm with you though, Blake. I think, a 40 lap race that has a big lap or a big time feel, unless you're like a short track, which we see longer, like the Ironman 55 laps.
Yeah.
It's also a tiny, it's a smaller track. So I saw some people calling Johnny out about that, but it's like, it's a smaller track there. So what are you going to do? But yeah, interesting stuff. Plenty to talk about this week. No shortage.
Yeah, we did, man. I mean, we got over 2 hours. We wanted to give a quick plug for those that are on iRacing. Mike Westbrook Memorial is a 360 Nationals event being held on iRacing here this week.
That's Dylan Westbrook's uncle. If you did not
Yeah.
know, Dylan Westbrook from Canada that has won at Knoxville multiple times. That's his uncle.
Explain this event here a little bit, Josh.
Yeah, so it is it's on iRacing. We have toyed with the iRacing League. Blake found out that it's not the best probably to have during the season for
Taking a
our
break till October.
podcast. Take a little break. But they're hosting a charity race, and all the proceeds go to the Steve King Foundation, which we tragically lost at the Nationals years ago. And that specific league, you can go to c2crl.com. There's information about it there. They have raised tens of thousands of dollars through iRacing for the Steve King Foundation. Also some drivers that have gotten hurt. I know there was the one female, I can't remember her name, that was burned out in California a year or two ago. They raised a good chunk of money from them. A lot of good people that put all those things on, and like I said, all the money goes to a really good cause. So check that out at c2crl.com. If you're an iRacer, if you're not, you can donate on their PayPal, and any little bit counts.
I think Josh is going to try to catch it. Unfortunately, I'll be in Fort Dodge. I'm calling state softball this week, so I won't be able to catch it. But a really cool event. So,
yep,
boys, that is going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
What a wild 2 weeks. My words are jumbling. Yeah, what an insane week. Josh, you want me to take it out? I never take it out.
Take us out, Blake.
All right. Let's talk about next
No
week.
pressure.
Up next at Knoxville, we have the final tune-up before the 360 Knoxville Nationals and the 410 Knoxville Nationals, two of the biggest weeks in racing. It is our Weiler and 410 Border Battle night. So once again, we'll go Jackson, Knoxville, and Huset's. I believe the same money will be up for grabs, pretty much everything else. And then it's also our Casey's Candy Dash. So make sure to bring your kids to the race. It is an awesome opportunity when Wade is not stealing all the candy from the kids. It's awesome. They put all that candy out on the front stretch, and kids can come and get it. And that'll be a fun one. Saturday, July 26th, there will be no pro sprints in action once again. So I'm excited. Kade, you talked about it with me a little bit before. We're going to see a lot of cars this week.
Yeah, it's going to be a jam-packed weekend. I wouldn't be surprised to see 40 or 50 cars in each class, and we've seen it every year for the past 10 years that it's like that. So definitely going to be an interesting racetrack with that many race cars, and if you can make it to the racetrack, I would not miss it.
We got a couple guys we're kind of tossing around here for who we might have on the show. We'll let you know by the middle of the week kind of what happens. But make sure to follow at Knoxville Nights on all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and at Knoxville Nights with no O on Twitter. Don't forget to search for Knoxville Nights on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all of our other podcast platforms. The numbers are doing great. Josh and I, we said it coming out of the track. We thank everyone who has come up to us and said things. It has become the norm. I mean, people first they'll kind of look at us and be like, "Are those Knoxville Nights guys?" And then they'll come up and say something. But Josh, it's so cool, man. We are growing at a rapid rate, and
means
we
a lot.
Truly appreciate everyone who listens.
Yeah, definitely means a lot, and it's cool. We've even heard. I saw some comments about the Kade Higday guy. I might have to go buy one of his shirts in our TikTok comments, which is really cool.
Somebody did say that last night.
Yeah. So which is awesome because Kade's a great dude, and he's a small time team that, as we've talked about, if you can buy one of those shirts, get one of those cool hats that he's got on, got some gray ones as well.
Guess what? You can get it signed when he's on our stage show every single day of the Knoxville National. I mean,
every single day.
It all comes full circle. That we started with that and we're ending with it.
That's right. And KnoxvilleNights.com or netcodebrand.com if you want one of those cool Knoxville Night shirts that I've been wearing in our YouTube videos.
Absolutely. You can follow Josh on Twitter at Josh_Gerlach. You can follow Kade at Kade Higday, and you can follow me at Blake_Walker8. That'll wrap it up, guys. Great show. Obviously, sucks we couldn't get an interview in, but boy, we would have been here another 45 minutes. So
we would have had 2 videos at that point.
Yeah,
I think.
we'd be pushing about the movie Oppenheimer in length. So we're glad that everyone stuck around. A great week of racing, the good, the bad, we saw it all, and we're glad everyone's okay, and we wish the best to all the guys that were hurt this past week. So thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys next week on the Knoxville Nights Podcast.